Alright guys, welcome back. We are starting Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi, which, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, Tatari means curse, and Gorosh means like kill or killing. Or does it mean killer? Let me go to trusty old Google Translate. Gorosh. Yeah, it means kill, I guess. So Tatari Gorosh is curse kill. So that's that's kind of an ominous name. I'm wondering if the previous chapter, the Tanagashi, was kind of like the chapter to really make you think on like a surface level that humans are the ones responsible for everything, because it's certainly more so than Onikashi. It really went down like the human angle. You know what I mean? We had the thing I still can't explain, which is the torture room that does exist in the Sonozaki household. I have no explanation for that. I don't know if all of my weird theories are correct in any way. I have no way to account for why there's the weird torture room in the Sonozaki household. I gotta turn this around. I don't have a light on me. So like, I don't know what to tell you about that. So the last chapter, if it was to make you think that in some way it's people doing it, the title of this chapter being Tatarigoroshi, Curse Kill, certainly makes me think that we're kind of swinging back the other way, and that this chapter is going to be some crazy supernatural shit, or at least on a surface level, it's going to seem like it's crazy supernatural shit, right? That's what I would expect, I guess. Let me go into the config, make sure I already looked at all my settings. I think we're good. I think we got it all set up. And before we start as well, like, I wonder what the format of this is going to be, if we're going to follow the same kind of formula, you know. Onikashi was the first thing, so, like, can't really say much about that. With Tanagashi, you know, it just threw us back into the story. We still have no idea, like, what's actually going on. Like, is this like a time loop? Is this like an alternate universe? Is this like does Keiichi have returned by death and he doesn't know it? You know what I mean? Like, is it like what's going on? Right? Like why did everything happen again? Right? So I wonder if we're just gonna be that, if it's just gonna be that again, if we're just gonna see the same, you know, the same 2 weeks or whatever it is happen yet again with different events, or if it's gonna be something new and something different yet again. I don't know. I don't know. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to get out of the way before we started. I don't think so. Everyone has said that this chapter is like amazing. So I guess I'm looking forward to that. I got my notes. Honestly, I have used the notes less and less as time goes on. I don't really know why. I should really use them. There's always little details. Like, the problem I had with the notes and with Tanagashi was there were so many little minuscule details that I should have written down that I didn't know they were going to be important, so I didn't write them down. Like, when I talked for 2 hours about the intricacies of the phone calls and, like, who was who, I didn't think that I should be writing down my reasoning for the phone calls, you know? So, I don't know. The notes are rough, that's for sure. Let's get started. Let's get started. I'm excited. Oh, a bridge, huh? I wonder. Oh, the shortest scenario. Um, Now I do wonder, like, we're at a bridge here, and if you remember in Mitanagashi, our setting for it was the torture chamber room. And I actually don't know if it was the one in the storehouse or if it was the one on the Sonozaki property. Um, and in Onikashi wasn't at Keiichi's house, which is where he killed Runa and Mion, right? So it kind of makes you wonder if this bridge is going to be. Yeah, alright. Tatarigoroshi, the shortest scenario, curse killing chapter, yeah. Man, curse, or coincidence? How are the conjectures inside you solidifying? Oh, God. It is just conjecture, it really is. I look forward to whether these conjectures will waver or become a cornerstone in this scenario. The difficulty is the worst. You will probably not even be able to make conjectures. I gotta send a screenshot of that to my friend. I've been updating my friend on my playthrough who hasn't played this before, just as I go. The difficulty is the worst. You will probably not even be able to make conjectures. Great. You know what? I doubt it. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna have it all figured out in this chapter. I'm telling you. I got it down. The shortest scenario is interesting. I wonder how much shorter it is, or if this is like a double meaning, if this means something other than the length of the game. Well, I'm scared now. The difficulty is the worst. Okay. Got about the laugh. The snake in the well was happy, for it did not care what was outside the well. The snake in the well was happy, for it had naught to do with what happened outside the well. And you were happy too, for you did not know what happened outside the well. That's actually very interesting. I feel like that kind of vaguely relates to like themes of the story in terms of like Keiichi looking into things so much, you know? Or like uncovering dark things about his friends and becoming like disillusioned with them. Not knowing what's outside the well. Interesting. My mouse off screen. Sometimes my mouse disappears, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer. One that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. It's already beginning. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. Apartment windows. Are we not from Keiichi's point of view? There were crooked houses and apartment buildings lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to wilt, as well as bicycles and motorcycles on the sides of the road, making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Of course, nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. But in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. The lone motorcycle, which couldn't be called neat, even as flattery, pulled up to a two-story apartment complex and stopped there. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. When the housewife hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out. Seems like it. Are we in Okonomiya? We've seen this shop before, but I guess I don't know. Oh god, not the landlord. Oh no. Oh no. What do you think I was going to say? Where's my rent? Oh no, he's here to fix something. Of course. Ooh. Oh god, I don't start with that. Oh. Gonna start off with the murder or something? Obviously it makes me think there's a dead body. That's what I'm getting at here, right? That's his job. That's the least he can do as a landlord. Come on. Okay. Come on. Yeah. There was an unhygienic drainage channel running behind the apartment. The lattice from which it flowed was stuffed with branches and fallen leaves, and when filth got cut up in them, it created an awful stench in the summertime. Oh, sorry. Wonder if it really is the drain. I kind of doubt it. Maybe it is. Maybe that was the author trolling me. The man crossed the fence over the drainage channel and picked up a filthy drying pole sitting nearby. He must have planned to stick it in the drain and clear it out. What's gonna happen? Just gonna make it worse. There's like a crust on top of it that's making the smell not as bad. I don't like this guy. Is that okay? He shoved the drying pole into the filth in the lattice. Of course, it did nothing to help the accumulation of waste. I feel like this means something. You know what I mean? Ooh. A dead cat. A dead cat. That is that is that is interesting. A dead cat. I'm yeah, and so do people. In case you didn't know.
ゴミ袋に古着にまあいろいろ捨ててあるね。あのあゆおまるでねえの。こりゃ臭いわぎゃ。しょうがないね。まったく。
Sounds like it. The drainage channel was already unsanitary. What was a little more garbage at this point? The stream of such imprudent people was never ending, and now this channel had turned into a garbage dump. When he poked the pile of old clothes floating in the sewage, a black cloud of smoke floated out in the water. The two of them grimaced at the terribly bizarre and repulsive sight. Oh god, stop! Is there a body in there? No, I don't know. Oh god, yeah, there is. Ooh, music. What is that sound? Like, I guess. Okay. I am on the right music, right? Let me make sure. How do I open the mod menu? Well, I think this is right. I don't remember how to open the mod menu. It's one of the F buttons, isn't it? F10? Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the right. Okay, I'm just making sure. When I hear new music, that stresses me out. Tomatake? No, forensic investigator. So a body, huh? We're starting off with a body. I wonder what day it is. Takano? Takano? Already, huh? Okay, oh god, I really want to take a lot of notes because I was warned that this is the most difficult chapter. So, we have a dead body. Late 20s, early 30s. Who I just immediately I want to run through real quick and just think about like who that could possibly be other than Takano, right? What other women have died in the story, right? Like the Furude, Rika's mother, right? We don't know how old she was. I mean, maybe late 20s, early 30s. I kind of doubt it. Sadako's aunt was another woman, right? I was trying to think, like, if this is some earlier point in the story, this could be discovery of a different body. You know what I mean? But I guess Rika's mother, they never found her body, right? I don't know, but who knows, right? I mean, this could be anything. I guess there's no point in really, you know. Because, like, this could just be a different universe, just like the last one was. You know what I mean? Why? Why indeed? Okay, that makes me think it is Takano, if we're bringing up leaving her in the mountains, but I don't know. Okay, maybe. Oh god. Ooh, it sounds like Tatarigoroshi, doesn't it? The Chinese mafia? Okay, why would you say that? Okay. I guess he's really desensitized, huh? Oh god, her ears and nose cut off. Man, that is interesting. Ears and nose cut off. Ooh. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Makes you really think with Tanagashi, doesn't it? Makes you really think about that. But it could easily, I don't know, it could be anything. I was told it's the most difficult chapter, so, like... I don't know. Do I have to click or something? There we go. School bell. Sounds like we're back. Oh yeah. The most relaxing time during the school day. Lunch for sure. Everyone brought their desks side by side like always, and we all ate together. Oh, this shot again. So it wasn't any of them, at least. I guess we knew that. They said it was late 20s, early 30s. Sadako and Ruka-chan looked at me on's lunch, shouting gladly. Let's have a look. Whoa. Of course. Hmm.
それでお酒のおつまみみたいなおかずが多いんだね。残り物。つまりは残飯とはいえ、これだけ綺麗に弁当箱に入れられてると、なかなかの迫力があるな。
I'm telling you, that line just feels like it relates to, like, the evidence and the theories that you can form by this point in the story. You know, all we have are scraps of food, but you can make things fit cleanly and look impressive, even if we don't even have close to a full picture yet. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but you know what I mean. True. It probably has a pretty significant impact, honestly. Absolutely. Appearances are deceiving, aren't they? It's all the same once it's in your stomach. I'd have thought Mion would say something like that, but to think she had this kind of taste. Not again. Not again. You can't judge a book by its cover. Mion was careful in everything she did. She never misstepped, faltered, or messed up. I see. She is our club president, after all. Interesting.
カニかまぼこのお花がとても綺麗なのですよ。
レナの弁当ってなんていうかいつも芸が凝ってるよな。リンゴのウサギさんとか人参の花びらとか。
I remember the rabbit apples. Rena's bento wasn't all about taste. It was like she always puts her heart into it or something. It wasn't just good. It made your insides all nice and warm.
ありがとう。みーちゃんにはちょっと及ばないけど。
料理は技術じゃなくて愛情でしょ。その意味でだったら、私なんか足元にも及ばないって。
Love, huh? Yeah. Just from looking at her bento, I could definitely feel that Rena put her heart and soul into making it. Jesus. That's what her bento is like. We are really emphasizing that, aren't we? We are really... I mean, like, I'm gonna write that down. The idea... I mean, I guess... How is it different from looks can be deceiving, right? I guess it's not really... I guess it's different from the idea that looks can be deceiving that we brought up in Tanagashi, because, like... It's not that the look is deceiving, it's just that the way it looks at first glance does matter. You know what I mean? So... I am going to keep that in mind. Because it's not really... It's not the idea that you should judge a book by its cover, but it's the idea that the cover of a book does matter, you know? Which is interesting. Because I feel like in Watanagashi, that kind of thing that we brought up, the idea of looks being deceiving and being the opposite of the truth, was truly relevant in the way things ended up, right? It seemed so much like it was Mion committing all of those murders, but I'm, like, very, very confident that it was actually Shion, you know? And kind of, I guess, if you had managed to keep that in mind just as a general theme, I think that would really help you reach that conclusion in the first place, just to know, to doubt what the game is explicitly showing you, you know? Obviously, that applies to Onikashi, too. It's not like that was only a thing in Watanagashi, but I'm just gonna try and keep that in mind, I guess.
その見習わなくちゃならない里子たちの弁当はどうだ？お、
昨日ご近所さんにお裾分けのお肉をもらったので、今日は焼肉弁当なんですよ。
These ones too. They had such an impact. They were bursting at the seams with grilled meat. At a glance, it was too impactful for a girl's bento. But when you thought about eating with all your friends, it brought more than enough color to the table.
粗雑な体育会系弁当と見せかけて、おかずの品数も結構あるみたいじゃない。ほうれん草のおひたしとか。
Dang! Man, I gotta get out on this.
リカちゃんはこういう気取らない家庭料理がとても上手なんだよね。リカちゃんは将来立派なお嫁さんになれると思うよ。
We've brought that up before.
未来の旦那様をわしづかみなの
Okay,
です。
what does that mean? A husband for Rika-chan, huh? At first that sounded appealing. It did, but I felt like a married life with her would be anything but normal. You think? But really, everyone was amazing. They were all so young, and yet they're all capable of cooking for themselves. I would sort of cook whenever I went camping with my family, but making lunch every day was a level I definitely couldn't reach. I could only really cook in my spare time. When I thought about it like that, it really made everyone stand out more. Frankly, I respected them. Huh? I feel like maybe this doesn't only apply to other people. Come to think of it, this morning, when I was eating breakfast half asleep, I think my mom was saying something really important. What? What? With a hysteric groan, I suddenly stood up, startling everyone at once. I love that sprite of Rhoda so much.
急に大声を出すからむせてしまいましたですわ。さとこのお鼻からご飯粒が出てます。
Oh god. I'd forgotten. All this stuff about cooking for yourself. It applied to me too. What do you mean? Oh no. Oh god.
ケイチ。お父さんとお母さんね。
Oh no. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How long?
眠。
お父さんの先生に当たる人がね、イベントの直前で倒れちゃったの。
Okay.
とても大切なイベントなんでね、どうしても穴が開けられないのよ。
Interesting that, of course, that this obviously didn't happen in the loops before. I guess I'm already calling them loops, because that's just what it feels like so much to me. But in the alternate timeline / loops / whatever, you know, what would have changed in this version of reality that made this happen, you know? Well, Dad does what he has to do for his job. Choo-choo.
それでお父さんとお母さん、そのイベントのお手伝いのために
For how long?
ならなくなったの。場合によっては何日
Okay, I'm already wondering, right? We call this the shortest scenario. I'm wondering if this whole thing is gonna happen while his parents aren't home. That would be interesting. No safety from them, you know? Sounds pretty difficult. That sounds annoying. Yawn.
その間、お母さんたちいないから、ご飯とかみんなケイチが自炊しなくちゃならないんだけど、ケイチは大丈夫？
He can do it. He can do it. Go buy some cup noodles.
人間。追い詰められたら、何でもできるんだから。
No kidding, man.
そう？
Coming from you.
なら安心ね。ご飯くらいは炊けるでしょ。お味噌汁も作れるわよね。あとは適当にお惣菜を買ってくればご飯らしくなるから。
He doesn't have to make all that for himself. Come on. A meal? Yeah. I can cook rice with my camping kit. Never used a rice cooker before. Choo-choo. I've only ever made instant miso soup that you make in a pot of boiling water, too. Well, I'll think of something. Choo-choo-choo.
自炊できるなら置いていくお金は
Oh no. Oh god.
外食は高いからしちゃダメよ。ケイチもそろそろ自炊と経済観念を学んでもいい頃だからね。
Gonna need to leech off Rena. Yep. I'll get by.
なんとかな。
He can't do it. What was I thinking? I was half asleep, and I made such crazy empty promises. Yet again, the idea of Keiichi having to be self-sufficient, is very interesting, isn't it? Like, just that is like a general thing, the idea of self-sufficiency. God, why is my pen not working? Man, like, because that feels like it's so against... God, I literally can't read this because my pen is just, like, not working. It feels like it's so, maybe not against what we have learned in the story so far, but, like, the themes of the story, I guess, it feels like it has so much been focused around Keiichi and his relationships with others, And the downfall of Keiichi always coincides with the downfall of his relationships with others, right? Like the deterioration of them. So the idea of Keiichi having to feel like he has to be self-sufficient in this sense, I don't know. That's just, it's an interesting thing to think about, I guess. I'm really desperately trying to grasp onto early themes to think about if this chapter is going to be this difficult. Just like manga characters always do at times like these, I bent over backwards and scratched furiously at my head. Scratch, scratch, sure.
ケイチ君のご両親って大変なんだね。ケイチ君、しっかりお留守番をしてなきゃね。
Sure.
そんなことより飯だ飯。親がいないんだぞ。全部自分で作らなきゃならないんだぞ。
No, Rena can come over and cook for you. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
それなら覚悟を決めて自炊なさればいいではありませんの。
No, he can't do it. It's impossible.
以前のカレーパーティーで見事に作ってみせたではありません。
Interesting. The curry thing already happened slash, I don't know, weird shit. Because they did this in the previous one too, right? Where they referenced like the picnic that they had at the shrine in chapter 1. They referenced that in chapter 2. So I don't know if this is like real, if this is like supposed to be a hint at where we are in the timeline, or if this is just like, you know, nothing. And it's just, yeah.
あのな、俺に作れるのはデイキャンプでお袋に教えてもらったカレーがせいぜいなんだよ。
And you stole all of the ingredients.
3食カレーなんか食えるかよ。カレーなんて所詮はジャンクフード。栄養バランスなんてかけらもない。
Oh god, the teacher is gonna kill him. He's dead. Leon and Sadako put their hands over my mouth. Oh no, it's over. It's done. It's done for. A moment later, the door rattled open, and Chi-sensei, a known curry maniac, suddenly poked her head in. No, no ma'am. Everyone's faces went totally white, and they all shook their heads in denial. This is why it's the shortest scenario. She's gonna kill them all right now. Her eyes rolled over the classroom. Her glare wasn't just a teacher's ordinary stare. It's curried. Must have been the wind. Chi-sensei gave one more look around the classroom, then closed the door and went back to the teacher's lounge. Oh, close one. I may have been shouting, but for her to hear it all the way from across the hall in the teacher's lounge. That teacher is terrifying. I gotta close Discord. Where's my mouse? There it is. Ugh. Ugh, there we go.
すまん。反省します。
That's what I said. But still, I can't have curry for every meal. And cup ramen is good because you only eat it once in a while. If you ate it for every meal, you get bored of it pretty quickly. Okay, you only have to survive for a couple days. They said a few days. How long are they gonna be gone? A month? Like, come on. Rice and miso soup, and a good side dish. Yeah, that's what a Japanese table should look like. Literally. Oh, what do you mean? Sure, if you say so. Does Sadako even know, like, what anything she just said means? Sure. It's a sign of your effort, though. We've learned that. With everyone encouraging me like this, I started to feel like maybe I could do it if I tried to. Though approximately one person didn't sound like she was encouraging me. Cooking is a skill I'll have to learn at some point, since I want to live on my own one day. Maybe learning now wouldn't be so bad. I'm pretty uneasy about it, but... Perfect. And Rena can come over and help you. Exactly. As if scorning me, Sadako ridicules my comeback from a hopeless situation in a certain do-or-die curry showdown. Like, they're so blatantly referencing the events of the previous chapter, but that wasn't in this universe, right? So what are we talking about?
レナのカレーに塩を一袋入れて、ミオンのご飯に塩を一袋入れて、俺の鍋をひっくり返しやがって。
I relapsed into my grudge over the last Curry showdown. For now, I calmed my unquellable anger by pinching Sadako's ears. She's gonna die.
あれは部活だからの攻撃なんでございましたよ。私だってこう見えてもちょっとはお料理とかできましたよ。
You sure? I don't know about that.
あのカレー勝負の時、リカちゃんに任せっきりで人参の皮一つ剥かなかったお前がか？肩払いたいわ。
人間は日々進歩してますのよ。
Sure.
私がいつまでもお料理が下手っぴだと思ってると大間違いなんですってよ。ねえリカ。
Man, she has a good attitude.
僕が見てないとお鍋とか干物とか不安なのです。
That's fine. That's fine. That doesn't contradict her point. It's okay.
ガスの元栓も閉め忘れてるのです。
She'll learn eventually. Wahahaha. Everyone burst into laughter.
干物は料理以前の問題だ。いくら俺でもそれだけはない。
Maybe. Don't speak too soon.
カップラーメンばかり食べてる人に言われたくありませんわ。でもさとこちゃんもそこそこにはお料理とかできますよ。
Yeah, wasn't she the one cooking in the last game when Rika and Sadako, you know, died?
いいぞレナ。こんなやつのためにわざわざフォローなんかしてやることはないんだぞ。いや、
別にフォローってわけじゃないよ。リカちゃんがずば抜けて料理がうまいから目立たないだけでさ。さとこちゃんだってまあ基本くらいはマスターしてるよ。
I'm sure.
ね。少なくともご飯と味噌汁くらいは作れますわ。
Same boat as Keiichi.
カリフラワーとブロッコリーのだけは使え。
Okay, you don't have to bring that up. Come on.
どっちも茹でれば食べられる。
No, they aren't. No, they aren't. Sadako erupted into anger, making two fists and swinging them above her head. Everyone laughed a lot after that.
他の人にならともかく、ケイチさんに笑われるのだけは我慢がなりませんです。
I know. It's unbelievable.
確かに俺は他のみんなよりも料理技術は劣るかもしれない。だけどな、少なくともサトコにだけは負けない。
I don't know about that. Sounds like you might be baiting for a real competition. I don't know if you would win that.
少なくともサトコにだけは。
なんですって急にこと書いて自信があるとは肩払いたくて笑っちゃいますわ。こう見えても私リカと交代でご飯をちゃんと作ってますよ。ちゃんと自炊ぐらいできるんでございますからね。
そうかそうか、自炊ができて。
She had to learn how to cook early, didn't she, with her parents being dead.
後でご褒美に飴玉買ってやるからな。
I patted Sadako on the head while I made fun of her. Sadako seemed to know I was making fun of her too, since her face went bright red very quickly, and steam started to pour out like she was a kettle.
全然信じてませんのね。とにかくケイチさんより私の方が全然お料理が
I believe her.
ございますのよ。
I believe her.
じゃあカリフラワーとブロッコリーの違いを言えたら俺も信じてやるぞ。
You're so mean.
言ってみろ。
緑の方がブロッコリー。
Okay, nice.
どっちなくて。
Oh god, no, come on.
カリフラワーが。
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's not that hard. Like, come on. Come on.
ほれほれ、ブロッコリーは何色だ？
She knows that one.
赤緑ってテレビのブラウン管じゃあるまいし。ほれほれ、言ってみろ。別にブロッコリーが何色かわかんなくても、さとこちゃんはお料理ができるんだ。
He is gonna die. They are gonna kill him.
偉いでっちゅうよ。
ケイチさんのバカ。
For real. Okay, that was a really long one. Oh, it was nothing to cry hysterically about. She's so goddamn cute. I stroked her head as hard as I could. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle.
ほ
ケイちゃんもそこまで言うからには、サトコよりはまともなものを
Yeah,
見せられるんだろう。
I'm worried you've talked yourself into a corner here, Keiichi, remarked Mion, giving me just a slightly mean smile. Actually, well, I had no confidence at all in my cooking. But the situation carried me along, and I decided to deliver an impressive declaration.
まあ見ていろ。今夜。俺は
Oh god, oh no.
見事な晩飯を作ってみせる。
Yeah, so we can all come over, right, Keiichi?
少し余計に作って明日の弁当にしてくるから。それを見て腰を抜かすがいい。
You sure?
それは楽しみなのです。明日のお弁当が待ち遠しいですよ。
Oh no, oh no. Oh god. He needs Rena, but he's not gonna, Rena's not gonna help him. Rena's gonna say, it's a club activity, I'm not gonna help you. He's dead, he's screwed. Rika-chan petted me on the head. Her words of can't wait sounded so transparent.
レナも楽しみにしてるね。どんなのを作ってきても、レナは笑わないからね。
Thank you, Rita.
となると、明日の弁当は
Yeah, you turn it into a contest. You were turning it into a club game.
じゃあこうしようか。明日のお弁当で
Oh god. Oh no.
もちろん部活扱いだからね。罰ゲームもついちゃうよ。あら、それは妙案でございますわね。どうです、ケイチさん。聞くなら今のうちでしてよ。
No way. Sadako wiped her tears and snarled at me, as if this was her chance to turn things around. Maybe this is bad? I feel like maybe the conversation is getting pretty out of hand. Oh, if I apologize, now's my chance? But what came out of my Keiichi Maibara's mouth was a statement so reckless it even frightened me. Of course, absolutely.
明日の弁当を見て腰を抜かすだよ。
Sure, why not? Look at Mion. Everyone raised their voices in surprise at my bold, confident reply. Ah, now I've done it. What have I done? I'm so irresponsible.
さてミオさん、ビリになったらどんな素敵な罰ゲームになってしまうんですの？
Sadako grinned fearlessly, as if to say it was already decided I'd be playing said fantastic punishment game. That's what Sadako always assumes, though. I mean, what is it gonna be? What is it gonna... Like, what? I mean... Keiichi has to... go... It's just... I don't know. I can't think of anything. That would be worse than what they've already made him do.
そうだね。じゃあこんなのはどうかな。
Hit me.
明日のお弁当勝負に負けた人は
Has to die.
明日のお昼休み職員室で食事
Oh
中
god.
先生の前でカレーの悪口を言うっての
Oh no.
兄ちゃん
That's way too far.
それはなんて恐ろしい。
Everyone went pale and gasped at how truly terrifying the punishment game was. Chi-sensei is such a maniac about curry that she'd risk her life for it. And to go up to her and start saying bad things about curry? What kind of fate would await us? Just trying to imagine it was scary. And as everyone looked blankly amazed at the terrifying punishment game, Rika-chan spoke.
明日のお弁当は腕によりをかけますです。
Rena and Mion and Sadako, everyone nodded deeply in agreement. Oh no.
もっとも
It's just down to Keiichi and Sadako. Like,
今夜のお夕食の方が問題でしょうけどね。
oh god. It's either gonna be Keiichi or Sadako who lose. Or so. Man.
俺が今夜どんな素晴らしいディナーになるか見る。明日の弁当でその片鱗をほんの少しだけ見せてやるから楽しみにしていろよ。
I wonder, would Rika just help Sadako and cheat and just make her bento for her? You know, because like they live in the same house, so they could just cheat very easily.
これだけの大見栄を切ったんですのよ。これでとんでもないのを作っちゃったらどうなるか分かってるんでございましょうね。
Well, who's the judge? I guess it's just the group as a whole, but that's kind of unfair.
さとここそ明日千恵先生にどんな恐ろしい目に遭わされるか
Mm-hmm.
今から楽しみで仕方ないだろう。
楽しみですよ。明日圭一さんはきっと土下座して、
Mhm,
それだけはどうかご勘弁を。
So, like, what's the strategy gonna be? You go up to her, say, "Oh, curry's terrible, I hate it," and then you immediately fall to the ground and start sobbing and crying. Like, I guess.
な 働きながら言うんですよ。目に浮かぶようですわ。
何よ。
What did you yank? What did you stretch? Both of us, on the verge of tears, pulled on each other's cheeks. Stretch. Thank you. That's very good.
自らを窮地に追い込むことで視力を振り絞ろうとは、ケイちゃん、男だね。こんなの男なんて言いませんのよ。
It's just stupid.
ただの無鉄砲って言いますのよ。自分もお料理なんかろくろくできないくせに。
He'll get it all figured out, I'm sure.
レナは信じてるからね。素敵なお弁当楽しみにしてるよ。僕も明日の圭一がとても楽しみなのですよ。
Their expectant gazes were painful. I was just trying to tease Sadako a little. How did it come to this?
おう、楽しみにしててくれよ。
Ah, how am I able to say such reckless things? I'm being so unreasonable. What the heck is going to happen to my dinner? In the Bento showdown tomorrow? No, more importantly, if they make me say bad things about curry to Chi-sensei's face, what'll happen to me? You'll die instantly. The extreme contrast between my outward bravado and my internal screaming continued as the hot and humid June afternoon dragged on. Oh no. Oh god. Oh man. Ugh. I love this music so much. Been a long time since we've heard this, hasn't it? Trying to think of the last time we heard it. I didn't think we heard it in a long time in Watanagashi, right? I think we heard it like the day after Watanagashi, maybe? In the Watanagashi chapter? I don't know. Been a while since we've heard this track. I like it though. What's it called? That's not a very... Oh, here we go. Orange Uro no Toki. Orange-colored theme. Up until school was over, the whole time. My meal tonight and my bento tomorrow were the only things on my mind. And now that I thought about it, it made Mom seem amazing for planning 3 meals every day of the year. I've complained before about having the same meal in a row once in a while, but now I know how rude that was. More importantly, what am I gonna do about the punishment game tomorrow? And the real thing about making, like, multiple meals like that is, like, you have to buy all of the stuff for them, you know? Like, that is hard to plan. Like, you have to go to the grocery store and know all of the things you need for all of these different meals that you're already planning on making. Like, that's rough, you know? It is rough. And besides that, what am I gonna eat tonight? Boo-hoo. I guess it's Hinamizawa, too. There's no way you can't go to McDonald's.
ああ、ごめん。
Although they already covered the idea of him eating out. It's too expensive.
ちょっと考え事を。
今夜の献立のこと？それとも明日のお弁当勝負のことかな？
Both. Irk. She hit the mark, and I couldn't find anything to say. And my facial expression made obvious the fact that she hit the mark.
明日の勝負はきっと圭一くんが頑張ってお弁当を作ってこれたらそれで大丈夫だと思うよ。
Yeah, you'll probably beat
頑
Sadako.
張って作った手作りのお弁当に優劣なんかないもの。
明日の勝負以前に今夜の晩飯だよ。食中毒でばったり行くかもしれない。
I couldn't make any more bluffs. I exaggeratedly drooped my shoulders and heaved a sigh from the bottom of my gut. Runa laughed in a shrill way when she saw me do
や
that.
っぱり圭一くんお料理全然自信なんかなかったんだね。
So I've been found out. Ugh.
もしも圭一くんがどんなに頑張っても無理そうだったらレナに電話してもいいからね。
本当か？
Maybe she can help you. She won't cook for you. Yeah. I don't think she'll just cook for you. I think she will help you.
何も苦労しないで人に頼ろうとしちゃダメなんだから。
Interesting. I'm yet again, that seems like a meaningful line to me. I'm writing it down. And it obviously applies to the idea of self-sufficiency that was already brought up, right? Trying to think if anything in previous chapters makes me think of this theme as like a general thing either. I don't know, Keiichi's never seemed like the type of person who's like overly reliant on his friends. If anything, he seems like the kind of person who I vaguely get the sense that he, like, thinks relying on others is bad in, like, some kind of way, right? I don't think it's, like, an extreme thing, like Araragi and Monogatari. If anything, I would almost say that, like, his crazy, like, wanting to be completely self-sufficient in Onikashi, for example, was a character flaw that he already has, you know? I don't know. Something to think about. I'm sure I'll say more about it. Runa seemed naive, but sometimes she was instructive. She didn't just spoil people unconditionally. Runa always seemed like an adult at these moments. I know, right? She is the best.
どうしてもダメだったら電話するよ。その確率は極めて高いが。
ファイトオーだよ。
Fight on.
さとこちゃんにあれだけ大見栄を切ったんだから頑張らなきゃ。
We need the Nano Desu at the end, though.
なあ、さとこってどの程度の料理ができるんだ？
She can cook.
少なくともケイチ君よりはできるよ。
Uh-oh. That was so direct. It hit me pretty
さと
hard.
こちゃんをあれだけいじめたんだ
Yeah, she's gonna do her absolute
ケイチ
best.
君はちょっぴり苦労にしてもいいかも。
レナって結構意地悪なの。
No, she isn't.
レナは可愛いだけじゃないんだよ。だよ。
Ah, now that I provoked Sadako that much, I couldn't just make some crummy bento. Ah, I can't believe how loose-lipped I am.
じゃあね、頑張ってね。
Thank you,
お
Rena.
料理、ケイチ君がやればできるってこと。
おう
Sorry, I skipped that line. I waved my hand absently in response. Leaving me with words of encouragement and a few pieces of super beginner advice, Rena disappeared past the trees. Obviously, that can't be the end of the chapter. We gotta make dinner, but... with a sub-chapter, I guess. I don't know what to call them. Oh god, it's already nighttime. What has he done? What's the situation inside? Oh no, I'm worried. He hasn't made anything? Fine, I'm desperate. So what? I may not know the ABCs of navigation, and I have neither a sea chart nor a compass. But still, one idiot is taking on the ocean of the great cooking age alone. And his name is Keiichi Maibara.
よし。
Alright, let's go. Time to cook. Got some potatoes over there. My enthusiasm is peerless. If energy and recklessness was all it took, I could take over the world. However, there are plenty of things in the world that can't be achieved with resolution alone, and cooking was probably the top contender. Therefore, even if it was hastily prepared knowledge, I wanted something to help me. I made up my mind and fished through the kitchen cabinets. I was on the hunt for a cookbook. My mom should have already had a few of them. For a complete amateur like me, the first thing I needed was information. Just like he who would cross oceans needed a compass. For me, a cookbook was absolutely indispensable. Oh, here's one. Its worn out, wrinkled cover made it feel somehow reliable. Okay, as long as I've got this.
考えるより産むが安しだな。
I don't think a cookbook helps that much if you don't have, like, experience. I guess it's better than nothing, but...
お料理の本さえあれば誰だってシェフの味が出せるじゃんよ。
Okay, yeah, no.
さすがはお料理の本。
And as such optimistic thoughts filled my chest, I flipped through the pages. However,
どう
it played with technical terminology like toys. I just couldn't see how to actually make things. Ah, you knew it all along, Keiichi Maibara. If anyone can make delicious food just by reading a book, then there would be no such job as a gourmet chef in the first place. First off, it calls for 3 teaspoons. Which spoon is that? Oh no. Oh god. It's over. We're screwed. What do we do? He doesn't know what a teaspoon is? Oh god. We're done. We are done for. And it keeps saying to use however much you like. How much exactly are you supposed to use? Stop using such obscure expressions. Strain out the water in a colander. Add salt and pepper to taste? What the heck is a colander? And strain it out, like stretching? You can't stretch water droplets like me. It is over. Ah, and besides, how much salt and pepper is that supposed to be anyway?
もっと
You're supposed to experiment and try. It won't do you any good to yell. Cool off, Keiichi. Think calmly. But for now, I'll leave the side dish until after. The rice is more important. Have to cook the rice or I can't start. I know a little about how to cook rice. I didn't cook it with my camping kit when camping all the time for nothing. I'll wash the rice. That should be enough water. Okay, and which switch is it? Is it this button? Oh, the lamp turned on. Yeah, fully automatic rice cookers are one of the 3 sacred treasures after all. Now pleased by the rice cooker set, I pulled myself together and decided to take on the miso soup next. The miso soup I made at day camp was all the instant kind after all. Well, it would be fine if I just melted the miso into hot water, no doubt. I'll boil the water and put in the miso. Huh? How much should I put in? It's over. It's all over. It's all over. I'm really thinking about this. Like, what characterization can we get out of this for Keiichi, right? The idea of him being this, blockheaded about following instructions and cooking, you know what I mean? It absolutely means something. I know it means something. I just don't know what, and that annoys me. I crushed the bag of miso soup in my fist and put half of its contents into the pot. I think that's too much. Was this really okay? Maybe this was a little too hearty? I really couldn't tell you. Maybe. I said it aloud as if trying to convince myself. Then, convinced by my own words, I nodded to myself. Alright, the rice and miso soup were probably fine. Next, the side dish. He knows how to make rice, right? Like he did when they made curry. But what should I make? Something I can make that would add color to the meal. That's it. Why don't I stir fry some vegetables? Sounds good to me, sure. You can eat vegetables raw too, and they won't die just from a little bit of fire. I was so cute then, not realizing that the level of my thoughts had fallen from what would look great in a meal to what would be easy to make. There were quite a few vegetables in the refrigerator. What kind of vegetables go in a stir fry? Bean sprouts? Cabbage? Chives? Onions? Can you put cucumbers and lettuce in? Okay. I don't think you put lettuce in a stir fry. Oh god, I gotta change where I'm sitting. My legs hurt. I had to drive for 10 hours yesterday. It was kind of rough. For now, I grabbed a nearby cutting board, cut them into chunks, and tossed them into a wok. This has gotten pretty exciting. Is the true worth of Min's cooking? Is what? Hey, this is actually getting kind of fun. Is it supposed to be, is this the true worth of Min's cooking? All of a sudden, there was a pile of vegetables in the wok. Alright, next is the salad oil. Glug 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 with the salad oil. It'd be more exciting if I filled it to the brim. Whoops, a bit leaked out. Well, no point in worrying about something so minor. I am terrified. The great Keiichi cooking is exciting. Okay, let's turn on the heat. Rip. Oh, it's over. It's all over. It's burned the house down. Froosh. The salad oil filling the wok to the brim caught fire, and flames reached up to the sky. We're dead. Everyone is dead. We're all dead. It's all over. What do you mean, amazing? Oh, God. No, you aren't. Those words were spoken by delusion. I was saying something outrageously careless, but when the words came out, they sort of convinced me. You think? Right as the crazy pillar of flame started to burn the ceiling, I finally realized that the fabulous cooking before my eyes had culminated into an actually life-threatening disaster. So he was gonna burn down his house on day 1, with his parents gone. So that's good. That is optimal. I guess this is why it's the shortest scenario, because he's gonna die right now. Okay, good. Wait, what? Could I have been doing something insane? The force of the flame grew stronger and stronger. Wait, what? Sadako? Why are you here? Kerthwack. Somebody forcefully struck me in the back of the head. When I turned around to see what was going on, to my surprise, I saw Sadako and Rika-chan there. So Keiichi's burning down his house, and Rika and Sadako walk in. Good. Great. Awesome.
さとこリカちゃん
Turn it off! As I stood in wonder at their unexpected interest, Sadako shoved me out of the way and turned off the gas. Then Rika-chan got a towel, soaked it in water, spread it out, and placed it over the pot. She continued to soak more towels, and put a second on, then a third. Once a whole bunch were piled on, the fire finally stopped. All of it happened in a few moments. Having avoided a huge fire by a hair's breadth, the three of us gasped for air. I'm writing something down. Yet again, the idea of Keiichi's actions almost being something that caused the huge disaster, right? Like, yes, that is incredibly vague, right? But it's the exact kind of thing that I feel like can be an analogy, or like a vague thematic hint for something later, right? The idea of it all being Keiichi's fault, or barely not being his fault, right? A big disaster happening, is very interesting.
お前らなんで俺の家にいるんだ
Well, they saw the smoke pouring out of your chimney. Well, not even your chimney, your door, and, you know, they ran over here.
急遽不法侵入だぞ
Shut up.
それを言うなら圭一さんなんか放火の現行犯でございますのよ
Exactly.
もうすぐで大火事になるところだったではございません圭一は今日から宿なしでかわいそなのです
He could just go live with you guys. And after pretending to be an iron chef, I finally began to take in the situation.
やっぱりあれは火事になりかけてた
Uh-huh. Yep.
当たり前でございませんのほらご覧なさいませ
You burned the ceiling, probably. Yeah.
続けていいのは男の背中だけですのよ
Sadako was seriously mad at me. Maybe they saved my life. According to what they said, I was so absorbed in my fiery cooking that I hadn't noticed when Sadako and Rika-chan rang the doorbell. But they could tell someone was home, so they came in to check. Thank goodness they did.
僕とさとこが来なかったら今頃ボーボーで消防車がなのです圭一さんそろそろ事の重大さが飲み込めまして
Maybe. At some point, I'd sat down on my knees as I listened obediently.
すみませんでした皆さんは命の恩人です
素敵なディナーがどんなものかと来てみれば案の定このざまですし
Oh god.
これじゃ出来上がりを見るまでもありませんわね
Don't say that.
嫌味なやつ
Not as mean as you were earlier,
じ
Keiichi.
ゃあさとこたち俺が夕食にどんなものを作るか見に来たってわけか
その嫌味に命と家を助けられたのよく肝に銘じた方がよろしいのではありません
Exactly.
はいすみませんでしたさとこさん
At this point, having shown them such a disaster, I couldn't exactly make any more bluffs. I'd completely surrendered.
カレーの時は結構頑張ってましたのにあの時の圭一さんはどこに行ってしまいました
I know, right? Come on.
あの時は後輩職に手伝ってもらって他の班の鍋を丸ごと借りただけで別に
圭一さんそんなズルをしてました
But so did you. Come on, you cheated more than he
ま
did.
ったくいくら部活とはいえとんでもない手を使いますのね
Pouring salt into the other team's pot seemed far more terrible to me. Sadako was in control right now, so I couldn't respond. I obediently hanged my head to her.
ところで圭一さんこの凄まじいお鍋まさか味噌汁だって言わないでしょうね
Oh no. Sadako stared at the pot, totally full of miso, with an awful expression. Ah, so I really did get the amount wrong. Judging by the look on Sadako's face, whatever was in the pot couldn't be called miso anymore.
味噌汁はともかくご飯はうまく炊けたはずだ
But maybe.
最近の炊飯器は便利だからなきっとそろそろ炊けてる頃だ
炊けてないです
He forgot to turn it
まだ
on.
中身も全然お水なのですよ
あれだってちゃんとスイッチを入れたらランプが点灯して
圭一さんあなたが押したボタンこれタイマーのボタンですのよ
Uh-huh.
朝食用にセットしてあるから
Okay, is that how that works? Really? That's how that works? I guess.
ってことは何か？俺は結局おかずはもとより味噌汁も
That's okay. Just make it new. Make new food. Just do it again.
何も自炊できなかったってことか。
ざまあありませんわね。どうです？ようやく身の程を思い知りまして。
I hope he has.
さあ認めなさいませ。私前原圭一は北条聡子さんよりもお料理の下手っぴな口先男でしたって。
It's true.
私は里子より
Thank you. Thank you.
ダメダメ男でございました。
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
どうもすみませんでした。
I fainted in agony. Oh, okay. He died. Ruga-chan pat my head, satisfied at the sight, and Sadako laughed loudly in triumph. Ah, I've completely lost. In the end, I talked big, but couldn't make a single dish adequately. At this rate, I'll go without dinner, and tomorrow morning, no breakfast, and no bento for lunch either. I didn't know how many days it would be before my parents returned, but at this rate, without a doubt. It's all over. Why are you so happy?
もちろん明日の弁当もなし。
Okay.
そして明日の罰ゲームも俺で決まり。
Give me another one. Give me another one. Thank you. Riga-chan kept on patting my head with a smile on her face that couldn't possibly get any bigger. Sadako, completely appalled at how unsightly I looked, heaved a heavy sigh.
大の男が情けないってありゃしませんよね。
He is not an adult.
ほら、おどき遊ばせ。
I sobbed like a girl. Sadako, displeased, brushed me aside, dumped the remains of the miso soup into the sink tidy, and then began to rinse out the pot.
いいよ、里子。自分の後片付けくらい俺がやるよ。
I couldn't have Sadako clean up the cooking utensils I'd made a mess of, but when I tried to stop her, Rika-chan pulled on my clothes.
圭一は黙って見ているといいのですよ。
Don't want to start another fire. She grinned as she said it.
黙って見てろって。何言ってるんだ、リカちゃん。
まあ、そういうことですわね。圭一さんは黙って私に
She's gonna cook for him, I guess? Sure. Sadako turned around and declared, seeming bothered, as if to say that amateurs should keep their hands off. Her annoyed expression was a little scary.
任せるって何を？
The cooking, come on. Sadako didn't answer. Instead, she spun back around and began to rifle through the pots in the refrigerator.
おいおい、あまりいじり回すなよ。
But what do you mean?
ひっくり返したりしたら、俺が後でお袋に怒られるんだからな。
I guess she could be planting a bomb in there.
うるさい男ですわね。男子厨房に立ち入らずでしたよ。
Men aren't supposed to enter the kitchen.
いいか？あいあいさですよ。
Sadako snapped her fingers, and Rika-chan got on her tiptoes, grabbed me by the back of my neck, and started dragging me away. Ugh. Leaving Sadako alone in the kitchen, Rika-chan dragged me back into the living room.
おいおい、リカちゃん。もう話してくれよ。里子に任せたら、台所が大変なことに。
It can't be. It can't be worse than what you did.
今日の貞子は圭一を見返しに来たのですよ。
Mm-hmm.
復讐なのです。
復讐？そういえば、里子のやつ、どこか険しい顔を。
Eventually, from the kitchen, there was sound of a faucet being twisted and a stove dial being turned. I began to hear the nostalgic sounds that made me envision dinner time. The refrigerator opening and closing, ingredients being cut on the chopping board. I do wonder if Sadako is actually bothered more by Keiichi's teasing than she lets on. I don't know. I just wonder if that would really even be an interesting, like, thing to go down, you know? I feel like that would just make you feel bad, you know what I mean? Like, because that's kind of just, like, the dynamic of the relationship that they've had. It would just make you feel bad for Sadako, I guess. Maybe that'd be the point, but I don't know. It's different than when, like, Keiichi saying the stuff that he would say to Mion in the last game, you know? But, I don't know. Something to think about, I guess. What did that mean? Was she cooking?
圭一にいっぱいいっぱいバカにされましたですから、貞子は 自分にもお料理がちゃんとできるところを
Yeah.
圭一に見せたかったのですよ。
The difference between Sadako and Mion is unable to face the issue at all. You know.
こうして音だけ聞いてる限りでは、お皿を落とす音も破裂音も爆発音も聞こえてこないな。
Uh-huh. At this point, at least, she had proven she was a more skillful cook than me. In the cooking showdown with Sadako Hojo versus Keiichi Maibara, it looked like a victory had already been decided. I recalled Sadako's slightly ignored expression from before.
俺、日中サトコのことをちょっとバカにしすぎちゃったよな。ひょっとしてそれで根に持たれた？
We were just provoking each other with our usual back and forth, but I also think I maybe overdid it. At the very least, I should have made fun of Sadako, who could cook for herself when I'd never cooked other than for recreation before.
さとこはそんなの根に持っていませんです。
What's the name of this song? I just want to see them all now. Oh, this is just the same one. Duh. We already looked at this one. It's just a different part of the song, and I'm like, oh, it's a different song.
でもこうしてわざわざ俺のところまで押しかけてきたくらいだろ。やっぱり怒ってるに違いないよ。
I quietly took a peek into the kitchen. She definitely looked different than the usual bird-brained Sadako. Come on. Her eyes were sharp and her movements were brisk, to the point where it was a little scary. Then, she must have noticed me because she turned around and shot me an annoyed glare. I cringed in fear and hastily pulled my head back out.
怒ってる。やっぱり怒ってる。ああ、俺はどんな復讐をされるんだろう。
She just wants to prove herself.
さとこは失敗したくないから真剣なだけなのです。怒ってなんかいないのですよ。
Oh god, I keep yawning, I'm sorry.
あれのどこが怒ってないって言うんだよ。あんなおっかなそうなサトコ初めて見たよ。
圭一さん、ちょっと聞こえてますか？
はい。
I jumped at Sadako's angry outburst and faced towards the kitchen. I felt exactly like a kid who had done something bad and gotten called to the teacher's lounge.
お味噌ってどこにしまってありますの？冷蔵庫がでかくて全然わかりませんですわよ。
すみません。味噌はその冷蔵庫の中段扉の中の下の網棚の左奥に。
Go be her servant, grab stuff for her, come on.
なんですのこれは。お味噌のパックは使ったらちゃんと口を閉じなさいですわよ。
Oh god.
冷蔵庫の中がお味噌で汚れてしまってるではありませんの。
すみません。
Before I could look for something to wipe it with, Sadako wiped it off with a wet dish towel.
まったく、男の人ってのはどうしてこう後片付けがずさんなんでございますの？
Come on.
そのまま大人になったらと思うとゾーッとしましたよ。
And again, it's just kind of grim just because, like, yeah, Sadako had to grow up fast, didn't she? Because her entire family died. Ugh. I couldn't talk back to Sadako today. The only thing I could do was obediently lower my head and apologize. As Sadako nitpicked and I apologized, a good smell began to fill the kitchen.
お味噌汁のお味噌はこう。お玉に少量をすくい取ってお箸で溶きながら、
Mm-hmm.
少しずつ加えて味見をしながら慎重にですのよ。丸ごとひねり出してお鍋にあけちゃうなんて言語道断でしたよ。
I don't even know what, like, miso looks like. Like, I've had miso soup, but, like, what is actual miso? Okay. I mean, I don't even think I know what miso is. Go to the Wikipedia page. Is a thick paste produced by fermenting soybeans with salt and koji. Okay. Sure. And sometimes rice, barley, seaweed, and other ingredients. Okay. Sure. Sure. I mean, of course, I've had miso soup before. I love miso soup. Sounds good to me, I guess.
すみません。家庭科の授業は真面目にやってませんでした。
情けない。まったく、これだから男の人。
Come on! I cowered at her annoyed-sounding muttering. But looking at her like this, she seemed quite good at cooking. It had just been overshadowed by Runa's and Rika-chan's artistic abilities. Sadako's skills were clearly enough to get passing marks.
さあさあ、 そんなところでぼーっとしてる暇がございましたら、食卓にお茶碗の用意をなさいませ。
Everyone gonna eat here? God, I literally can't talk. Everybody gonna eat here? Question mark?
私もリカも食べますから、用意は3人分ですわよ。
あ、はいはい。
I hastily took a three people's worth of dishes and such from the cabinets and headed to the dining room. Is there something wrong with my brain right now? What's going on? When I returned there, I could hear laughter from a variety show on the television. Rika-chan was sprawled out on the couch, watching television and relaxing. When she noticed me putting the dishes out on the table, she came scampering up. Maybe they can just live here with you, while your parents are gone.
ケイイチのうちでご飯なのです。ニパ
Nipa.
リカちゃんは上機嫌
What does that mean? I've heard, so, I don't know, I've been vaguely spoiled on Rika saying Nipa. I don't know what that
ーン。
means,
もうすぐご飯なのです。
but I have, I know that's a thing.
ニパ
I don't know what it means, though.
サトコの不機嫌とはえらい違いだ。
I've just, seen it as a thing that people say that she says. Can I, what, I mean, I don't want to Google it. I don't think it, literally means, if I type in Nipa on Google Translate, it doesn't say anything, so. I don't know what it means. I can't, look it up. Because I could be some crazy shit, I don't know.
サトコは全然不機嫌じゃないです。久しぶりにとても楽しそうなのですよ。
I'm sure she
楽し
is.
そうあれがか。
サトコがニーニーと一緒のところみたいです。
Satoshi. Oh, hoo hoo, hoo 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 hoo. Ooh, man, oh god. This is something that has been a vague, a vague thing that's been in the game, has been the idea that everyone's families are fucking dead. And we've never, talked about the impact that it's had on these people, right? Rika and Sadako's families are all dead, we never knew how close Sadako and Satoshi were. Obviously they both went to Hinamizawa, though. So, the same school in Hinamizawa. So, I assume they were pretty close, right? They were siblings. So, man. If we're finally delving into the actual impacts that these losses have had on these characters, I am all for it.
こんなに楽しそうなサトコを見るのは本当に久しぶりなのですよ。
Wonder if Keiichi can almost, take that spot, What the heck is Nini? Is it a sound cats make? Okay, no, obviously, it's Oni-chan, right? Obviously.
ニーニーはニーニーです。
Mm-hmm.
サトコのお兄さんなのですよ。
サトコの兄。
サトシと言いますです。名前くらい聞いた
Mm-hmm.
ことがありませんですか？
Well, Satoshi. Satoshi Hojo? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. At least he didn't go to our school.
サトシっていうのか。サトコの兄貴は。
Ooh. Sunrise.
初めて聞いたな。
She had a brother, huh? I didn't know that.
いるのですよ。
Well, she did. Saying that, Rika-chan grinned even more brightly and went Nipa again.
サトシと一緒にいる時のサトコはいつもこんな風に
Oh,
楽しそうだっ
God.
たのですよ。本当に久しぶりにこんな楽しそうなサトコを見ますのです。
I remember, wasn't there in Watanagashi, didn't Rena say something about Sadako's behavior changing too? About how she used to be different? It was during the conversation, I think, with the whole appearances can be deceiving thing, However I looked at it, she seemed to be in a bad mood. But her good friend, Rika-chan, was saying that it was actually the opposite.
楽しそうなのか。
きっとニーニーと一緒だった頃を思い出してるに違いないのです。懐かしいのですよ。
懐かしいじゃあ、今はサトコと別居なのか。
Yeah, you could say that. Maybe Sadako's older brother Satoshi is actually a lot older than her? Well, he did transfer. He must have gone off on his own and was living by himself far away.
サトコは、そのサトシって兄と仲は良かったみたいだな。
はい、とても仲良しな兄弟だったです。
She spread her arms wide to demonstrate the width of how well they got along. According to Rika-chan, Sadako supported a docile, slightly unreliable older brother through nagging. That was their relationship. I see. That certainly applied to the current situation. who had me, unreliable, unable to cook even a single dish properly, and Sadako, who redid it while scolding me. Could Sadako have been getting a glimpse of her brother, who now lived far away, through me?
いつもあんな感じでサトシに小言を言いながら、だけどしっかりと支えながら仲良く生活してたんだな。
今日圭一のところへ来たのだってサトコが言い出したのですよ。
She said, "There's no way the unreliable Keiichi-san could possibly make dinner. We need to go make it for
じ
him."
ゃあ別に復讐とか見返すとかそういう意味で来たんじゃなかったのか。
放っておけなかったのですよ。サトコは今でもしっかり者の妹なのです。
Sure. I was an only child. Oh, that's really sad, though. That it's like she's trying to like return to that time, basically through Keiichi. I didn't know how it felt to have siblings. Of course, I've never had a little sister like Sadako, but I felt that in this moment, I was an older brother, obediently and helplessly being looked after by her. I want her to stay here. Here's what we're gonna do. Sadako can stay here with Keiichi while his parents are gone. She can pretend to be his little sister. He can pretend to be the older brother. Without any teasing or messing around. I'm going to give her thanks for her trouble. That's what I honestly thought.
圭一さん、おしゃもじがどこにあるかわかりませんでしたよ。
ああ、ごめん。しゃもじはその右脇の引き出しの中に。
I ran into the kitchen, got the ladle out of the drawer, and offered it to Sadako.
さあ、出来上がりでしたよ。もうお茶碗とか準備できてますの？
ああ、もう準備 OK だぜ。
では、ご飯にしましょうですわね。リカ、お夕飯ですわよ。
I heard Rika-chan's effervescent voice coming from the dining room. Sadako turned off the gas flame on the stove and lifted up the pot of miso soup. She remembered.
圭一さんは炊飯器を持ってきてくださいます？ひっくり返さないように注意するんですのよ。
Come on.
ああ、気をつけるよ。
I can carry rice cookers just fine without being warned about it. I thought about replying like that, but I decided not to. No mean words or witty retorts today. Rice with steam billowing from it and miso soup, as well as a handful of side dishes. On the table was a truly firm, family-oriented dinner. It wasn't weird at all or extravagant. It was a daily meal, the sort a housewife would make. It was very nonchalant and brimming with liveliness.
では、いただきますですわよ。
Itadakimasu.
いただきます。
At Sadako's command, Rika-chan and I both thanked her in a loud voice. Aww.
サトコのことは侮ってたよ。
I gotta do something real quick. Wait. Ugh, let me do something. Wait. No, that's the wrong thing. No, that's actually fine. Okay, there we go. Okay.
完全に敗北だ。
少しは見直しまして。リカやレナさんに比べれば私もまだまだですけど、
Yeah, no kidding.
圭一さんなんかよりはよっぽどお料理ができましたよ。
へいへい、おみそれしやした。
After I honestly admitted my defeat, Sadako's expression finally softened, and she laughed with her normally loud and cheerful voice.
お、ご飯いい感じで炊き上がってるな。
Though she used the rice cooker, it tasted a little different from the rice my mom made. Maybe she used a different amount of water for it. Even so, I could feel Sadako's personality from the rice, which made it taste better than usual. The miso soup was a little on the thick side, but it was still delicious. The side dishes, while not exactly flashy, tasted great as well. It was also appetizing, and I couldn't stop
お
eating.
かずもよくできてるよ。サトコも決して料理は下手じゃないぞ。
I gave my honest impression without a hint of sarcasm. Sadako seemed to have been expecting some, because when I praised her so honestly, she got flustered instead.
褒められるのは光栄ですけど、そんなに立派ではありませんのよ。おかずはお惣菜屋さんで買ったものを温めただけですし。
That's
これ
okay.
とこれは缶詰を開けただけですし。自分でちゃんと作ったのはご飯と味噌汁だけなんですのよ。
Sadako said, embarrassed, her face a bit flushed. There was none of her normal verbal abuse or sarcasm in there either.
ご飯とお味噌汁しか作ってませんけど、出来合いのおかずを並べればそこそこに立派にはなりますのよね。
うちのお袋だって出来合いのお惣菜は使うし、缶詰だって使うよ。そんなので恥ずかしがることはないだろう。これは立派な夕食だよ。
I gave her honest praise. I've never met Sadako's brother, but Satoshi would probably praise her in the same way.
まあ、 私にもそこそこのお料理ができることが分かっていただけたのでしたら、それで十分ですわね。おかわりいります？お味噌汁はまだあります
Absolutely.
ですわよ。
Absolutely. Huh? Did that brat just awkwardly change the subject? When I realized my response had been on the mark, it made me a little happy.
こうしてご飯を食べてると、サトシと一緒にご飯を食べてるみたいで楽しいのです。
Really just gonna bring it up? I guess. Rika-chan mentioned Sadako's older brother's name again. Sadako's chopsticks paused, and she looked up at the ceiling.
懐かしいですわね。一体今頃どこでどうしてるやら。
She had a faraway smile, as if yearning for a friend who had moved away. So did they really not know where he is? That is interesting, right? Obviously that... From how it looked, I got the impression she hadn't seen Sadashi in quite some time. Sadako realized I was giving her a blank stare.
申し訳ないですわね。サトシっていうのは私のニーニーじゃなくて兄なのですのよ。
あ、うん。そうなんだ。
Nini must have been a nickname only Sadako used for him. It was so funny to see her hastily deny it.
あんなに生活力のない人に家出なんて解消があったなんてびっくりでございま
Oh,
すけ
to
ど。
run away. Is that... okay.
そのうちに慌ててひょっこり帰ってくるに決まってます。
Interesting.
家出したんだ。
But it happened at the same time as her aunt died, right? There's another story to what Sadako had said so cheerfully. The reason for Satoshi not living with her was a little serious. Everyone had been talking about it in such an upbeat way, so I continued to talk about it. Should I not have broached the subject at all? I hastily took a look at Sadako's face after thinking that, but there was no trace of the gloomy expression I'd been worrying about.
まあ、一人暮らしに憧れるなんて年頃らしい夢ではありませんが。
He's as old as Keiichi,
どう
right?
せニーニーには長続きするはずもありませんけどね。ご来症のない人ですから。
But it's been a year, right?
サトシはああ見えてもとても我慢強い人なのですよ。サトコが思ってるよりもずっと我慢強いのです。リカはすぐニーニーの肩を持ちますのね。リカはちょっと甘やかしすぎですのよ。サトコはニーニーに厳しすぎるのです。
It really is interesting. Like, I wonder how much of Sachoshi's absence is felt in the club that Keiichi doesn't even pick up on, you know, because obviously he didn't know Satoshi, you know, but very interesting, right? Because we know he was part of the club too, so I don't know. And Keiichi's inclusion in it, I really wonder.
帰ってきたらもっと優しくしてあげた方が良いのです。
Sadako and Rika-chan's views regarding Nini, aka Satoshi, were parallel to each other, but I could easily tell that both of them really liked him. They were so optimistic too. Even though he had run away from them, it was like they were going to see him again next week. Sadako and Rika-chan both liked Satoshi even now, and waited for him, believing he would surely return. I've never met him, but I know for sure that this Satoshi person was a really good guy. I had thought Sadako would be deeply hurt by her brother running away, but she had already overcome that. She was still being the energetic little sister, always full of vim and vigor, as if to say that her brother could come back anytime he liked. I just don't know if I buy that he ran away. You know what I mean? I mean, again, maybe he did. But if everything that Rika, or that everything that Rena said in Onikashi is to be believed, that Satoshi went through essentially the same things that Keiichi did in Onikashi, I still think then, therefore, that Satoshi is the one who killed his aunt, not the random unnamed homeless person, and that's why he ran away, I guess. But then you would think Sadako would know he's not just going to come back. You would think that she would know that he's the one who killed his aunt, right? And you would think the whole subject would be so dark she wouldn't even want to talk about it, right? So, I don't know. It's weird. I thought that Sadako didn't think through anything, and just frolicked and played practical jokes every day, and that was it. But she was really... yeah.
なんで私の頭を撫でますの？
I roughly rubbed a hand through Sadako's hair.
俺、サトコのことを誤解してたよ。お前がこんなにしっかり者だなんて思わなかった。
Sadako seemed to think I was making fun of her, and tried to bat away my hand. But then she saw that there wasn't even a trace of malice on my face, and obediently granted me her head.
サトコはしっかり者。
私は最初からしっかり者でしたよ。圭一さんに合わせて悪ふざけしてあげてたに過ぎませんわ。
There was her usual provocation, but I decided not to buy into it today.
そうだな。俺に合わせてふざけてただけなんだよな。でも本当はこんなにもしっかり者。
Come on.
偉い偉い。
本当に褒めてますの？
Yeah.
なんだかバカにされてるような。
俺は全然バカにしてないぞ。真面目に褒めてる。バカ
Hmm.
にしてるときはリカちゃんも一緒に撫でるからな。
それもそうですわね。リカは人を小バカにするときよく頭を撫でますものね。缶詰のイワシさんが美味しいのですよ。
Rika-chan went Nipa, and her smile became even brighter. Her attitude was clear as day, but it was annoyingly cute, so both Sadako and I suddenly burst into laughter. Where did this Nipa thing come from? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Because it's different than the meep, obviously, right? Like, we've had meep, we didn't have Nipa before, but now she's suddenly saying Nipa. The table itself was so dull and simple that I never even thought people could be laughing like this around it. And then, I finally came to realize something really
笑いな
obvious.
がら食べる食事って美味しいよな。
Absolutely.
もちろんなのですよ。
We brought that up before, haven't we?
笑いはご飯を美味しくするのです。
I think it was even in Onikashi, one of the really early chapters.
失礼ですわね。ご飯が美味しいのは私のお料理が美味しいからに決まってますわよ。
This harmonious moment, this happy circle, it was completely different than spending time with family, but still somehow nostalgic. It's really nice to hang out with Ruka and Sadako again after they were dead for the past 10 hours of gameplay.
さとこはニーニーに会いたいか？
ニーニーなんて言ってませんですわ。兄とお呼びなさいですわ。
Hey, wait, you've been saying Nini this, Nini that this whole time. I grinned wryly and decided to just call him brother like she told me to.
さとこは兄貴に会いたいか？
Rika-chan stopped eating, then looked back and forth between my face and Sadako's. And it's possible Rika knows more than Sadako does about it. Sadako was smiling. She looked like she was trying to choose her words. Just from that, Sadako conveyed her feelings. Honestly, she wished he would come home right now. But she wasn't that weak. Sashiso should just do what he wanted until he was satisfied. In return, she'd let him have the scolding of his lifetime. Then she'd have dinner with him and lay out his futon for him.
会いたいかと言われれば、もちろん会いたいに決まってますわね。もうすぐで1年になりますもの。
It's been that long already. Rika-chan smiled thinly, her eyes appearing to look far away.
まあ、ニーニーの好きにすればいいのですわ。少しでも生活力を身につけて、たくましくなって帰ってきてくれれば、私の負担も軽くなるわけですし。
ほら、
Wouldn't be as lonely.
またニーニーって言った。
言いましたですね。
No, she didn't. You're hearing things.
言ってませんわよ。ニーニーのことをニーニーなんて言いませんわよ。
Things rapidly returned to the usual lively atmosphere of lunchtime at school. But nothing changed about Sadako's feelings towards her brother. She was living so bravely and so strongly. Hey Satoshi, your sister is trying so hard to watch the place while you're gone, isn't she? Give it a rest and come back soon, got it?
さとこ、そろそろお片付けをしないとお眠になる時間なのです。
True. It was when we were all watching TV while enjoying some tea after dinner. Rika-chan let out a big yawn and then spoke. Sadako and I both looked at the clock and noticed how late it had gotten. No, perhaps we both realized it already. We just didn't want this warm moment to end. Maybe we didn't want to say anything.
いけませんわね。まだ食器を洗っていませんでしたわ。
いいよ、そんなの。それくらい俺がやっておくよ。飯をごちそうになって、食器まで洗わせるわけにはいかない。
Does she want to do them? I don't know.
本当に大丈夫ですね。
What's that, the
慣れ
bonfire?
ない人が洗うと、お皿とか洗剤で滑って落としちゃいますわよ。
Jeez, she's turning into a perfect nagging little sister. It was charming and awkward. Emotions like that were all mixed up inside me. I gave her a vague, dry smile.
ケイイチだってお皿くらい洗えますですよ。割ったお皿で怪我をしたら明日学校でかわいそしてあげますです。
Thank you.
わー
Me too, Rika. Rika-chan yawned again, so wide you could see her molars.
本当に大丈夫ですの？ 圭一さんって見かけと違って随分と頼りない方でございますからね。
やれやれ。佐藤の中の圭一株は大暴落みたいだな。
Didn't we have a
安
talk?
心しろ。
God, come
皿
on.
くらいきっちりと洗ってみせるぞ。
Didn't we have a talk about Rika and the way she looks when she yawns already? I forget when that even happened. It was Keiichi talking about it to Rina, right? I can't remember what the context of it was, but or was it when they were talking to Mion at her house before everything went down? I don't remember exactly.
安心して帰れ。っていうか、こんな時間じゃ、佐藤子たちだけに帰らせられ
You
ない。
gotta stay here.
家まで送るよ。自転車の鍵を。
私たちを送った後、一人で家に帰るの圭一さんではありませんの。夜道に迷って高津戸あたりに迷い込んだら大変ですのよ。こ
True.
のあたり、お家も明かりも全然ありませんから。
I was trying to worry about them getting home, but I didn't think they'd be worried about me getting lost. Am I really that unreliable? She really is being critical, but yeah, this feeling I have, it's not bad. So I ended up not needing to escort them. I saw off Sadako and Rika-chan to the
今
gate.
日は本当にありがとうな。おかげでとても文化的な夕飯にありつけたよ。
さとこが来なかったら、今頃圭一はグーグーでニャーニャーだったのです。
He'd be dead.
本当ですわね。本当来てよかったですわ。
They really saved me. I gave them another bow filled with gratitude.
そうそう。ご飯とおかずの残りをタッパーに詰めておきましたから、明日はそれをお弁当になさいませ。明
Ooh.
日の朝食は食パンとジャムがいいですわね。いちごジャムとピーナッツバターが冷蔵庫中段の右端にありましたわ。あと
Man,
粉末ココアが
She
先
is
なのに理由
she has
が
become the Maibara house manager. I know all that. You don't have to go into detail. I was about to say that, but I decided to humbly listen to her. It was then I finally realized that Sadako, who had appeared to be in a bad mood, was in fact in a great one, just like Rika-chan had said. And though she had nagged a lot, she was very kind.
では、おやすみなさいなのですよ。
Oyasumi nasai.
寝る前にはちゃんと歯を磨くんですよ。
Yes,
5
ma'am.
分以上かけてしっかりと磨きなさいませ。
Is she just being funny now?
わ
Like,
か
come
ったよ
on.
佐藤子ちゃんと歯も磨くし、弁当も忘れないようにするよ。
いつもより早めに起きないと朝食やお弁当の支度ができませんわよ。
Yes, ma'am.
なんなら少し早いくらいの時間に目覚まし代わりに電話して差し上げましょうか。
Come on.
そこまでしてくれなくても大丈夫だよ。目覚まし時計を少し早めにセットしておくことにする。ありがとな。いろいろと気にしてくれて。
Sadako looked like she had more fault finding to do, but she stopped and, leaving me with a good night, got on her bike and disappeared down the nighttime road. I wonder if on some level she, like, blames herself for her brother leaving too, if this is her kind of attitude towards Keiichi and, by extension, Satoshi, you know? I don't know. I could imagine it. Rika-chan went to do the same, but then remembered something and came
どう
back.
したアリカちゃん。
Something about Satoshi?
忘れ物か？
今日の圭一は100点満点でした。
Thank you.
パチパチパチなのです。
You did a very good job, Keiichi. Rika-chan suddenly complimented me. She clapped her small hands. What was she on about?
別に褒められるようなことはしてな
No,
い
you
だろ。
did. Compared to the first chapter of Tatarigoroshi when you ruined everything.
危うく自宅を火事にするところだったし。
さとこもきっとニーニーが帰ってきたような気がして、とても楽しかったと思いますです。たまにこれからもさとこのお小言に付き合ってあげてほしいのですよ。
Sounds good to
そう
me.
言われる。頼りない兄貴。サトシの代わりになってやれっていうことか？
Rika-chan didn't say anything. She just smiled and went Nipa hyphen star or tilde star.
サトシってさ、こんなにもできた妹と一緒で何が不満だったんだ？
What is Rika gonna
俺がサ
say?
トシだったら絶対に家出なんかしないぞ。
サトシにはサトシなりの事情があったのです。きっと。
I didn't know what he was unhappy with, but whatever the reason, it was no excuse for abandoning
早
Sadako.
く帰ってくるといいな。
If my crazy theory about oh god, sorry, about what the syringes are for, and by extension that meaning Mion and Rika know like what's up with that. And my theory about Satoshi having gone through the same thing Keiichi did that made him go crazy in Onikashi, my throat, man. Then I think that really must mean, obviously, that Rika does indeed know a lot more than she's letting on here, right? That would kind of mean that she absolutely knows what actually happened to Satoshi, you know?
俺じゃ多分本物のニーニーの代役はいつまでも務まらないぜ。
大丈夫ですよ。今日の圭一はサトシそっくりだったのです。
And obviously, bringing up connections between Keiichi and Satoshi is kind of scary too, because of when we first brought up those connections in Onikashi and what they meant, you know?
またお願いしますなのですよ。
If that's what would make Sadako happy, I'd take on this easy role whenever I needed to. Yeah, come on. Sadako stopped her bike under a distant exterior light and called out to her friend, who wasn't coming no matter how long she waited.
では、僕はもう行きますですよ。おやすみなさいなのです。
あ、おやすみ。
僕ではサトシの代わりをできませんが、
Ooh.
圭一ならできます。これで僕も心の荷が一つ下りましたのです。
That's what she was trying to do, huh? Leaving me with that, Rika-chan sped off on her bike. She rode up next to Sadako, and then the two of them disappeared in the blink of an eye. It's just so sad that, like, Rika and Sadako are both people who have lost everyone, right? And that they're just... that they have this relationship like this, that Rika views her relationship with Sadako like this, when she herself has lost her own parents too, you know? I mean... I don't know. It's very sad.
サトシ、本当に早く帰ってきてやれよな。
Maybe he will. Maybe he will. I'll punch you right in the nose. Let's try our best until that day comes, Sadako. Even if I could no longer hear the sounds of their bicycles, I stood there for a while, seeing them off. That has got to be the end of the chapter. That was a long first chapter compared to the other two games, wasn't it? This is probably going to be a two-part video, so... Sadako's Trap Course Elementary. Sounds good to me. Sounds good. But I will read that in a minute for you guys, but for me it'll be tomorrow. So, see you then. Alright, let us continue and read this tip. Sadako's Trap Course Elementary.
俺が保証する。サトコならこの山で
I sure?
腰段相手くらいなら十分にあしらえるに違いない。
私は知ってるよ。サトコはとある国の特殊部隊に招聘
That
され
one
トラ
country.
ップの訓練教官をやってたんだ。
そんな変な話はいいから誰か助けて。
What are they doing to Rena? How did it come to this? What traps did we fall for, and how did we fall for them? Mion was caught in a profusely thin pitfall she couldn't escape from, and only her head was poking above the ground. Rena's head was completely covered by a tin bucket. She was squirming around in a vain attempt to remove it. How? Either of these were really funny, but that's where it ended. At least they had their feet on the ground.
ケイちゃんの方はどう？
He was...
抜けられそう？
what happened? You were captured in a net on a tree branch or something?
早く抜け出しておじさんを助けてよ。
抜け出して助けるのはミオンの方だ。このスマッキ状態の上に何をしろと言うんだ。
I was wrapped up in a bamboo mat and hanging 2 meters above the ground. What was this trap and how did I fall into it? Huh? It was Sadako. This all started when they suggested that I was unfamiliar with nature, having grown up in the city, and proposed a little exploration on the mountain.
でもレナもよく裏山は知らないよ。
That's very trappish, apparently.
レナじゃ迷子になっちゃう。
裏山ね。小さい頃はよく遊んだけど、ここ何年かはさっぱりだな。そこ道を誤るとかなりデンジャラスに迷うんだよな。
裏山なら私たちにお任せですわよ。山が
Oh, yeah, okay. Makes sense then.
遊び場なんですもの。ね
That's why it's covered in traps.
えリカ。ね
おお、それは心強いな。じゃあここは二人の顔を立てて二人の道案内でハイキングと行こうじゃないか。
でもケイチ君、裏山迷うから遊びに行っちゃいけないって。
Who cares? Come on, that's okay. We won't get lost right now, come on.
まだ夏休みではありませんでしたが
Oh, true.
大丈夫
Yeah.
なのですよ。
Everyone knows you can only get lost on summer vacation.
安心なのです。
Of course. Of course.
裏山は昔から私たちの遊び場でございますもの。岩も同然。抜け道、近道までバッチリでございましたよ。
Yes, both Sadako and Rika-chan knew the path like the back of their hands. Thanks to them, we had our fill of fresh air, gorgeous views, and Mother Nature, the likes of which you could never see in the village. But things got pretty strange partway through. Where did they go?
そうそう皆さん。
Mm-hmm.
ここからは私が歩いた足跡の通りに歩くんですわよ。
Oh no.
は？突然何を言い出すんだ？
おとなしくサトコの言うことを聞く方が身のためなのです。
Did they disobey her, or did they follow her and she led them into the traps?
あれれ？ねえみーちゃん。
Oh no.
ほらこ
They
れ
disobeyed. They disobeyed
なん
her.
だろうね。引っ張るのかな？
I know.
かな？
Suddenly. Squeak. Crash. When Rena pulled the kite string, a bundle of bamboo spears fastened to a tree branch all came raining down with a clatter right next to where Rena was standing.
何これ？何？
Yeah, we need defenses. Come on.
懐かしいのですよ。これは確か2年生の2学期に
It's just been there this whole time.
危なかったですわね。竹襟の先端には
Oh,
黄色い
good.
のが塗ってありますから
Perfect.
それ
Good.
だと後で腐り出しますよ。
Awesome.
ここはいつからゲリラの戦場になったんだ？
According to Sadako and Rika-chan, earlier in elementary school, Sadako had been on a trap-making craze and set them up along every inch of this mountain.
キイチ君、ひょっとして裏山が立ち入り禁止なのは迷うからじゃなくて危ないからじゃない？
No, it's probably fine. It's probably okay. Mion and I both nodded wholeheartedly at Rena's hypothesis.
先を急ぎますわよ。
Yeah, follow her.
早く
Come
戻ら
on.
ないと暗くなってしまいますわ。
Follow her exactly.
暗くなったら私だって危ないでございますからね。
But you're the one who brought us to this crazy mountain. Why was an average, healthy Japanese boy like me being forced to deal with life-threatening booby traps? And then, the very moment Sadako and Rika-chan got just out of sight was when the three of us all got caught in nice little traps together. And they just left them. They just kept going. They just... That's good. That is good. Rena, I feel like you have the easiest one to escape. Just get the bucket off. Like, it can't be that hard. Come
おい
on.
レナ、あんまり暴れるな。
Okay.
罰が見える。
Don't even say that. Come on. Stop, like, calm down. Smash, crash, smash, 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 crash, bash.
見えてるだろ絶対。ごほ。ほら。
The bucket runner was using me as a sandbag, and Beyond was crying.
落とし穴から抜けられなくてかわいそうなのです。もう皆さん、だから言い
Yeah,
ましたでしょ。
come on.
私から離れたらいけませんで
What
したよ
happened?
って。
I finally had an epiphany. Sadako had been so bent on taking everyone out of the mountain, because she wanted to brag about all the traps she'd set up here over the years. You could have stopped just at showing them to us. I didn't need to experience how it felt firsthand. Rika-chan pets our three heads in sequence in an incredibly satisfied mood. Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty. Let's continue. Gotta save again, even though there's no reason to. I feel the need to. Oh, it's lunchtime. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh god.
というわけでいよいよお昼の時間が来たね。
Mion gleefully announced the beginning of lunch.
いよいよお昼の時間でしたよ。
Finally.
この中の一人が罰ゲームになるんですわよね。
But Keiichi just brought your cooking, so I mean, how are they gonna even decide?
今日の罰ゲームはちょっと怖いからね。レナ、悪いけど思いっきり真剣に作ってきたよ。
In Runa's case, I don't think she'd lose even if she wasn't taking it seriously.
みー、僕たちもそれぞれに頑張りましたのですよ。
What do you mean we? It's supposed to be a single game. Come on, you're not supposed to help Sadako.
今日はさとこもリカちゃんも
Okay,
それぞれ
thank you.
別々に
Good.
作ってきた。いつもは2人一緒のお弁当だけど、今日は一緒だと勝負にならないからね。
そこは大丈夫ですのよ。リカも私もちゃんとそれぞれに用意させていただ
Okay,
きました
okay.
の
The
よ。
allegations of cheating have been cleared.
さとこちゃんもリカちゃんも頑張ったんだね。楽しみ楽しみ。
ちょっと意外だったのは、
I know, very. Except he didn't. He cheated.
ケイちゃんもさすが。やればできるみたいじゃない。
I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today had been made entirely by Sadako last night. It had none of my personality, so there wasn't anything in there that they could praise me for.
ケイチ君のお弁当はどんなだろう。楽しみ。
I'm sure it's fantastic.
期待夕べのご飯のお惣菜の残りが詰めてあるだけだし。
お夕食の残り物は
True, sure.
ゆうべのケイチさんのお夕食も分かって一石二鳥ですわね。
Was it really better to hide the fact that Sadako came over and made dinner last night? Well, of course it was. If I revealed that I didn't make my own bento, I'd be sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry maniac Chi-sensei and say bad things about curry. Yes, yes. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100-story window. Sure. It was exactly the same as telling someone to die. Okay, I guess, if you say so.
でもみーちゃん、今日のお弁当勝負ってどうやって勝敗をつけるのかな。ケイチ君もちゃんと作ってこれたんだから、今日はこれで引き分けで結果なんじゃないのかな。
I don't know. Who are gonna be
そ
the...
れもそうですわね。
Okay,
昨日の
sure.
罰ゲームはケイチさんに自炊を促すための葉っぱ
And he
みたい
did,
なもの
and
です。
he didn't. But I guess she's happy to have cooked for him, so...
ケイチもちゃんと作ってこれましたから。
Awesome, thank
引き
God.
分けなのですよ。
Thank God. My simple bento with last night's leftovers could never have stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Sadako and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peaceably, but will Mion, the club president, agree to it? However, the club president, Mion Sonozaki, would not be convinced by something like that. Exactly.
何を甘っちょろいこと言ってるんだか。白黒つけない灰色勝負なんて絶対ごめん。
Oh God.
ぶつかったら決着つけなきゃ。手打ちして引き分けなんてヤクザの世界だけなんだからね。
言うと思ったぜ。勝負好きのミオンがこのまま終わらせるわけないよな。
This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But well, I didn't make this bento after all. Maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss.
ではみー、どうやって勝敗を決めますですか？
Yeah.
相互採点じゃ公平な採点にならないからね。
Okay.
ここは公開審査と行こうじゃない。みんな、
Oh God. Oh no. Can we, like, bribe people? I guess this kind of opens up, like, the gates to, like, alternative strategies. You know, we can, like, cheat in other ways, you know? Mion commanded everyone, who had just started eating, using her club president voice.
おじさんたち5人のお弁当を採点してもらうよ。ベスト3までを紙に書いて投票する。
But that's just judging a book by its cover. Remember, like, come on, it's supposed to be how it tastes, too.
いいかな？
Everyone in class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Yeah, came the energetic voices from here and there. Everyone already knew that the showdown this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game, and they were all very interested in what would happen to whoever lost. Of course, they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying.
では、みんないいかな？まずは私から行くよ。
Alright.
それ。
In exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off her multi-tiered ornate bento box. What do we got? Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight. Oh God.
すごいですわね。おせち料理みたいでしたよ。
嘘だ。嘘に決まってる。こんなの
どこかの仕出し弁当の中身を
Maybe. She might have. You would never know.
純日本風な料理をミヨンが園崎ミヨンが
Of course, of course.
作れるわけがない
みーちゃん、このくらいは本気になれば作れるよ。めったに本気に
I wish we got to see them.
おじさんを誰だと思ってるわけ？時間と材料があるなら満館全席だって再現してみせるよ。
What is the Manchu Han Imperial Feast? I don't know. Who knows? Something. The entire classroom gulped audibly, and everyone wrote down a score on the notepaper in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just the visual impact would give her a perfect score. That's not fair! We talked about this! Didn't we? Like, come on, we can't just grade it purely on the way it looks.
じゃあ次はレナのお弁当行ってみようか。レナもかなり料理は得意だからね。
レナのお弁当はいつも食卓の花なのですよ。
Mm-hmm. She might win, honestly. I don't know.
みんなありがとね。じゃあレナのお弁当も公開するね。
Rena's bento was a beautiful mix of the two colors of eggs and minced meat, and it too was a bento staple. The Saburo bento, I don't know what that is. She had been thorough with the side dishes as well, and they were abundant in number. She had spent more time than usual on it, but it was unassuming and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore the household warmth in it that Mion's bento lacked.
さすがですわね。これは高得点が期待できましたよ。
It's gonna be Keiichi and Sadako last for sure.
厳しめに見ても減点の余地は全くないね。相変わらず見事。
I don't know. I feel like in some way they have to like subvert expectations here, and it's not gonna be Keiichi who loses, but how could Keiichi possibly not lose? You know what I mean? Like Sadako didn't bring anything. She was too busy cooking for Keiichi last night. She forgot. I don't know. Once again, every one of the judges wrote a score on their notepaper at the same time. There seemed to be some who were revising their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score, too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Rena, and on everyone's face it was clear that they wanted to be tasting them rather than scoring them.
では続いて僕たちなのです。では公開するでございますよ。
Oh, okay. Both at the same time, sure. Come to think of it, Sadako and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. It was impressive that they still made a bento. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them how hard they worked. The toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they tried their hardest. It made you feel a little biased, so that you'd give them more points. Yeah, Rika's gonna get points for being Rika. Like, come on. A few people stuck by just that... Can I read? A few people struck by just that once again, revised their opinions, and wrote in scores on their notepaper. I can't... Like... A few people struck by just that. Once again, revised their opinions and wrote in scores on their notepaper. I don't know why that sentence was impossible for me to read. Oh, there should be a comma in there or something. I don't know.
レナやミヨンの出来には確かに劣るかもしれないけど、それを考えるとかなりすごいことだぜ。
Sadako and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily.
実は内緒でございますのよ。
Absolutely.
くにょくにょくにょくにょ。
What? What happened? When Sadako told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's bento boxes. I took a quick peek inside and... half the contents were missing. No! Not bad. In the end, Sadako and Rika-chan hadn't made a bento today. A bold move. They got Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun to share their bentos with them.
おい、富田君、岡村君、何を条件に買収された？
Give me the rest. Give me the rest of both of your bentos.
いつ何を買収されたって
How scandalous.
そうっすよ。別にさとこたちに水やり当番を代わってもらうくらいで弁当を半分なんか。
Curse you, Sadako. What an impudent trick. Sadako grinned, showing her fang-like canines, and laughed in triumph.
あら、これはケイチさんに学ばせてもらった技ですのよ。
That was... That's very good. That's very, very good. How naive. Buying them out with watering duty alone. They're men. If you're going to buy them out, you need to use something a lot spicier than that. For example, like giving them 3 tickets to walk Sadako and Rika-chan around like dogs all day, with them on all fours, wearing tails, and with leashes around their necks. Maybe you can, like, convince them to admit that they cheated, you know? I don't know. That might be enough to get me to do anything. Okay, sure. As I was lost in my wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulder and called me back to reality. Damn, it was just getting good. Okay, come on.
次はいよいよケイちゃんのお弁当だね。ケイちゃんの昨日の予告だとかなりのものが期待されるけど、実際はどう
I
な
don't
る
know. I wonder if it is better. Probably not.
ケイチくんってやるときにはやる人だからね。レナ、今日はとっても楽しみにしてたんだよ。
They're all looking forward to it. But it's really just leftovers from dinner last night. I didn't even make it either. How is that supposed to stand up to Mion and Rena and the others?
もう焼けだ。
Hmm.
驚くなよ。
I tore the lid off my bento box. There weren't very many cheers. Well, I guess there couldn't be. You know, that's okay. Yeah. He did his best, except I mean, he did do his best, and his best was gonna burn down his house. So, he did do his best. It just was, this isn't his best.
レナはその頑張り、わかるよ。
レナ、無理に褒めなくていいぞ。
どんな具合ですの？ケイチさんにしては頑張ってる方ですの？
Kinda.
まあその頑張りは認めてあげたいけどね。
But you're gonna lose.
勝負は非常だしね。
Of course, of course. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It felt like it spoke for everyone's opinion, just like that. Man.
初挑戦なのにこんなに上手に作れたんだよ。みんなもっともっと評価してあげてもいいと思うんだ。
I don't think so.
でも勝負は非常なのです。
さーてケイちゃん、採点結果を集計する
Oh god.
何か申し開きがあるなら聞いておくけど。
What can you say? What can you do? How can you escape your fate?
申し開きってなんだよ。
ケイちゃんがここで何かを訴えることで、わずかな得点加算が望めるかもしれないってこと。
True, sure. What can you say though? I don't know.
何しろ今日の勝負はビリでさえなければいいんだから。うまくすれば、なんとか罰ゲームから逃れることができるかもよ。
I guess, but then what? Sonico's just gonna have to do it? That would suck.
それってアンにケイチさんのお弁当がビリって言ってるのと同じことでしてよ。
別におじさん、誰の弁当がビリだ
Of course. It could be anyone's. It could be yours, I'm sure, Mion. I guess he kind of deserves it after the way he treated Sadako yesterday during class, so Mion cackled repulsively. In contrast, Sadako's smile was growing somehow awkward. Oh, right. This bento was filled with last night's side dishes. That means it was basically a bento that Sadako made, and Mion outright said it would come in last place.
みーちゃん、ちょっと意地悪だよ。ケイチくんがかわいそう。
レーナー、ケイちゃんも今日の弁当勝負は負けられないってあらかじめ知ってたんだよ。それを承知で、昨日あれだけの大見栄を切ったんだからさ、甘やかす必要なんて全然
I
ないと思う
guess.
けどな。
Sure, true.
ねえ、さとこ。
Okay. Come on, like, keep a straight face here.
それでこのざまなんですから笑っちゃいましたよ。ちょっとさとこちゃん、笑うなんていけないんだよ。だってちゃんちゃらおかしくて
Okay,
笑って
why are
し
you?
まう
Come
よう
on,
なお弁当でしたよ。
calm down. No, don't say that.
こんなお惣菜屋さんで買ってきたよ。
Oh,
本当に点滅もいいところでしたよ。
God, stop.
ほら、これなんか
Oh
缶
God,
詰に入れただけだよね。
please, please stop. Please, 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 please,
こっちの
please,
キュウリは包
please.
丁が通ってな
Oh
くて綺麗
God,
に切れて
oh
ない
no,
し。
oh God, please.
ケイちゃん、
No,
包丁とか全然
Stop.
使ったことないでしょ。
oh
経
God.
験不足が明らかなんだよね。
We gotta stop, we gotta stop, we gotta stop, we gotta stop, we gotta stop.
経験不足もいいところでございましたよ。
彩りもかなり単調。
Well, that's okay. Keiichi did that
こ
part.
ればかりはセンスのなさに呆れるね。
そりゃ弁当箱に食い物を詰めるなんて初めての経験だし、多少見栄えが悪いのは仕方が。
Sure, I guess.
ケイちゃん、弁当箱への詰め方以前のレベルなの。
Mm-hmm. Please don't say something
見
awful.
た岡村、解説。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were chosen from a many underclassmen. Tomita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward.
前原さんの
Oh no. Oh god, we're getting a deep dive on it.
それは彩りなんです。
Mm-hmm.
ご存知の通り、あらゆる色彩の根底には
Sure.
三原色と呼ばれる配色が存在します。つまりバランスよく配色を求めるなら白、黒を除いても3色は必要なのです。
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
しかるに前原さんのお弁当は白黒を除いた場合暗緑色しか残らないんですよ。
I guess. Dark green. No one will want to eat it if you describe it like that. I had forgotten. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Sadako, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? God, what strong wills they have. It was charming, if only because they were working so hard despite having been bought out.
おかずも心のこもらないお惣菜や缶詰ばかり。
Oh god, don't say that!
つまり前原さんのお弁当にはお弁当の三大要素、
Mm-hmm.
愛、心、味のうち
Okay.
2つも欠けていると断言できるのです。
I guess. I think there's love and spirit in there. The classroom, convinced by the elucidation of the mystery they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration.
愛もなければ心もない。
Mm-hmm.
決まったね。前原圭一。
ちょっと冷たいけどでもこれを機にケイチ君もお料理の
Well,
楽しさに気
I
づいて
guess
くれれば
He
いいのかな。
he did have a little bit of fun as he was burning down his house, I guess.
そんなことより罰ゲームが僕以外なら何でもいいのですよ。
Of course. Rina was giving a dry smile as well.
決まりましたわねケイチさん。罰ゲームはケイチさんで決まりですのよ。
I guess. She laughed in such a vile manner, but she didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Sadako was speaking ill of a bento that she practically made herself in front of the whole classroom, and I could tell how painful that laughter was. Okamura-kun said before that this bento lacked spirit, but among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. That's what I'm saying! Yeah! This meal that she had made for me yesterday in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one. I wouldn't let it end with this slander. What's he gonna do? Defend it somehow? Like, I guess. Good luck. How are you gonna spin it?
さてビリのケイチさん、そろそろおとなしく負けを認めなさいませ。
I refuse.
ちょっと待ってもらおうか。
Alright, let's go. When I began to speak in a low voice, the expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was baring his fangs at the last moment again.
俺の弁当の敗因は心がないか。
Mm-hmm.
そういう解説だったな。間違いないな、岡村君。
Okamura-kun, who had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered in reply that I was right.
心の定義は何だ
What am I looking at? What is Rika's face?
努力か汗か涙かその結晶か
Mm-hmm.
ならば俺の手に残るこの火傷は何の
Okay.
評価になるんだ
Sure, you can take credit for that, I guess.
ケイチ君、それ油が跳ねたやけど。
Great, the burn marks from when I almost caused a fire yesterday looked just like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. You were, to be fair. I could clearly tell that the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put into it.
自らの料理の下手さによる失敗をさも努力の功績であるかのように見せるとは
Just like Subaru.
やはりこの男油断ならない。
そうだ俺は下手だ昨日大見えを切ったのが情けなくなるくらいに料理が下手だだが逃げなかった
True, you did try. That is true.
戦ったそしてこの成果を出し
What?
た
I just can't. Like, what is Rika's face? Like, what am I looking at over there? Man.
それは心じゃないのか。どうなんだ。
レナは認めてあげたいな。挑戦する心が評価されなかったら誰も前に進めない。
The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay, the tables are turning. The Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun, bought out by the objects of their unrequited affection, weren't about to lose either. They shifted to the counterattack, clearly exceeding the price they were paid.
なるほど。前原さんの気持ちはわかります。ですがね、心だけで料理が決まるんだったら、この世にコックはいらないんですよ。
True.
そうっすよ。心を込めて頑張りましたって言って、コックが消し炭みたいなハンバーガー。
I don't know.
それにお金を
But maybe.
払います？
I might feel bad.
払わないですよね。
It depends.
つまりそういうことなんです。
That's right, that's how it goes. The male students took Tomita and Okamura's side. Gah, they did have a
でも
point.
心尽くしなんだぞ。たとえ真っ黒のハンバーグが出てきたにせよ。それを作ってくれた母の苦労を知るなら、俺は食う。
I guess it wouldn't be good though, but it wouldn't be good. Clap, 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 clap. This time, the female students in the class took my side. Good. Now we're even.
そもそもお弁当というのは愛情を食事の形として昇華させたもの。
There's plenty of love in there, buddy.
それは相手に伝わって初めて意味があるんです。前原さんのお弁当からは
It should.
伝わりますか？
It should.
いいえ、僕には
Oh God.
伝わりません。
Don't say that.
ひどい。
The girls in the class began to boo loudly at his remark. Now even Okamura-san was panicking.
静粛に傍観人は発言を慎むように。
裁判長、俺はここでこの弁当にどれだけの心が込められているかについて、
Okay, alright.
優遇レナ氏と証言を求めます。
Big.
レナはこのお弁当には心がこもってると思うな。
Thank you.
確かに稚拙なところは多いかもしれないけど、でもお料理は上辺だけじゃないと思うの。
True. Yes, we talked about that. The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. In response, all the men in the class began to boo. Whoa!
裁判長、前原さんと竜宮さんの意見は極めて
Whoa. Calm down, Ben Shapiro. Like, come on.
採用するには不適切です
検察側の反証を認めます。どうぞ。
例えば本件をお弁当で
Sure.
は
Okay.
誕生日のプレゼントだと置き換えて考
I
えてみます
think you're already off to a bad start. I don't think I'm going to agree with you if you're going to say something about a birthday present that's not good enough or something.
例えば誕生日の日に
Sounds good.
リタが手編みのセーターをもらったとする。
Sounds good to
そ
me.
して彼、岡村は図書券を1万円分もらったとする。
That felt strangely real. Was it actually just an example?
常識的に考えてどちらに心がこもっているかは
Sure.
です。
Uh-huh.
つまり手編みのセーター。
Yeah.
これはお弁当に言い換えれば手作りのおかずが相当
Oh, no. Wrong. No.
そして
Uh-uh.
単なる金券に過ぎない図書券は
God.
お金で買う
No.
す
Wrong.
なわち海簡素な
It's just-
相当する。
That analogy just doesn't work. No. I just disagree. The boys and the girls all began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they received as presents in the past. Okay. Damn. Tomita-kun, he changed the subject to something that could easily grab everyone's attention. Not bad. I'll lose the initiative at this rate.
意義あり。本件はお弁当の心について問うものです。
Mm-hmm.
誕生日のプレゼントという特殊な状況とは全く
Sure, I guess. We're just equating handmade to spirit.
検察側、続けなさい。
Whoa. Damn.
さて、ここで大事なのは送り手の心と受け手の心は
We aren't gonna have any time to eat at this rate.
皆さんの目の前に実際に手作りのちょっと左右の丈の崩れてるセーターと1万円
The handmade sweater, obviously. Come on.
どっちがいいと と聞かれたら図書券で
No! No!
1万円ですよ
I don't care. If someone made me a sweater, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll take a gift card. Like, hello?
コミックスが何冊買えるか計
Who
算でき
cares?
ますか十数巻程度の単行本なら即座にフルコン
I guess. But still.
愉快で面白おかしい漫画が何十冊これによって癒される心の至福とセーターでは比べ物
I just think there's a difference there in terms of, like, the human connection, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, you'll be satisfied with happy, humorous manga, but that's a different kind of connection than a connection with someone who you actually know who made you a sweater. Like, come on. The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats. But all you guys that age are like that. Even I would choose the gift certificate over the sweater in that case. Wow, come on. Hey, wait, weren't you the guys that said it was about love, spirit, and taste right at the start? Since when did taste trump all? That's the stance they were taking now.
以上より送り手の心と受け手の心には何の因果関係もないことが立証されたと思います。
I don't know. I don't think so.
つまり前原さんがどれだけ苦労してお弁当を作ろうともそれは私たち受け手が採点に手心を加えるものにはなり得ないのです。
I just disagree very strongly. I disagree very strongly. I think that's like... I don't know. I think that goes against everything, you know? That just can't be right.
それは危険だぞ富田君心は確かにあるそれが伝わるかどうかは受け手の問題だ
Okay, sure. Sure, yeah.
味が全てだ
女の敵
なんだと
Now the courtroom is in chaos, but I can't allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Sadako's honor, exactly.
さて弁護側は今のに何か反論はある
Slowly and strongly, I nod and step up to the dice. Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, do you two really think you can beat me with mere words? What are you gonna do? Beat them up? Gonna go grab the bat real quick?
今検察側は送り手の心とは無関係に評価が行われると言いました
Mm-hmm.
それに間違いはありませんね
At some point, I began speaking formally.
そうです。前原さんがどんなに苦労して作ったお弁当でもその苦労は評価の対象にはなり得ない。
では検察側に尋ねます私前原が今日の自分の弁当として
Mm-hmm.
その評価はどちらも同じものなのですか
Okay. The prosecution hesitated to speak. Got you.
そう手作りの弁当とコンビニ弁当では
Mm-hmm.
全
Mm-hmm.
く比較にならないのですどんなにひどい手作り弁当であってもただ買ってきただけのコンビニ弁当とではそしてそれは評価されているつまり
Sure,
手
sure.
作りによる心はちゃんと受け手に伝わってるのですそれを認めよう
We've not gotten to see Sadako's reaction to all of this at all. Boom. With those impactful words drawn in the air behind me, I pointed my finger. The girls, led by Rena, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admitting it too. Let's go! What is that sound?
認めます。
認めましたね認めましたねでは次にコンビニ弁当にはなぜ心がないかについて移りましょう
Alright,
そ
alright.
もそも弁当で伝える心とは何なのか
意義あり。前原さんは中小
I
表現で
what?
法廷を
Okay.
煙に巻こうと
Yeah,
してい
so
ます
your problem is you're a stupid little kid, actually.
却下します面白そう
Thank
だ
you.
から最後まで聞くように
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got them. Now, I'll show you two the difference between
裁判
us.
長ここでフルで理科賞承認として関門したいと思います
Alright, alright.
み
Even for Rika-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt from the blue. There's no doubt that she never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before. For this showdown, it doesn't
フル
matter.
で理科さんあなたの今日のお弁当は実によくできている
It's,
美
uh-huh.
味しそうです
God, did Rika forget how to speak? Like, this is all she does is say meep and nippon. What happened? Sadako and Rika-chan's bentos had been made out of half of Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun's. The prosecutor's faces turned pale, but they were too late.
岡村君の弁当箱を持ってきてく
Oh
ださい
god, oh no, we're doing like a comparison.
いいよ。
Oh no, oh god. What are we doing?
オーケーに僕のお弁当は何の関係もありません。
却下します。
Oh no.
裁判長、この岡村君の弁当箱を
Mm-hmm.
見よ、この中身を。
Oh god. Oh no. But you can't expose them for cheating. That's not gonna help. That's gonna make Sadako lose. Like.
半分かどうかじゃないでしょう。もっとよく見てください。
Mm-hmm.
ほら。
ああ、全く同じ内容だ。
Mm-hmm.
裁判長、見ての通りです。フルでリカシのお弁当は岡村
Oh
君の
god. Oh
こん
no.
なものに心がこもってるわけがない。
You're just gonna make Rico
い
lose.
や、これは単なる偶然で。
もう明白でしょう。心とは送り手と受け手のキャッチボール。
You're supposed to keep it a secret. Come on.
ならば弁当箱はボールに当たるのです。そして本来このお弁当は彼、岡村君の母親から息子
Mm-hmm.
に託されたもの。だからこの弁当箱に詰まった心は彼。それを割り込んで奪ったら。
Sure, if you say so. Hmm. Dun dun dun. Yay, that did it.
あれそうなの？リカちゃん、そうなの？
You have your right to remain silent. Or you can just say me. Like, come on. Is that the mystery of this chapter that Rika forgot how to speak? Is that where we're going?
なるほどね。
Like that's
みぱ
that's what we get from her. Thank you. Mion, the judge, folded her arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I would win or lose.
よし、判決の前に主文からにしようかね。
Okay. Shh. The entire classroom quieted.
まず、被告前原圭一の弁当が客観的評価として非常に出来の悪いものであるのは間違いない。そ
Sure.
れはこうしてみんなの採点の集計結果が物語ってるからね。
Gah.
でも、ケイちゃんの言う通り、料理は味だけじゃない。
It's not all about taste. It's not all about presentation either.
心もまた隠し味として認められるべきだよね。
Mm-hmm.
でもそれは得点評価で言えば小数点以下。本当に微細なもので、
Oh
そ
no.
の出来具合の評価を改めるには至らない。
Grr.
さて、ここでそもそもの今日の弁当勝負の原点を探りたい。
Mm-hmm.
そもそも今日の勝負は何が大前提なのか。そう。被告前原圭一が自炊できるか否かが問題になり、その
He
成果を
couldn't, but that's
語るた
okay.
めに催されたものだった。
そうだよ。ケイチくんはちゃんと作ってきたよ。
Irk. That stung my conscience a bit, but for the showdown, it didn't matter.
ならば、この勝負の大前提は自炊。
Uh-huh.
すなわち手作りであるか否かだよね。
Okay.
でもリカちゃんはそれを
Oh no. Sarika just
す
loses.
なわち失格ってことになるのかな。
みぱ
Rika-chan let out a nipa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome. I guess she's the one who could, like, not die, too, right? I think she could take the punishment the easiest. Like, what? The teacher's not gonna kill Rika. Like, come on.
部活は非常なのだ。
さすがケイイチなのです。最後の最後まで頑張りましたですよ。
Rika-chan demanded I lower my head. Then she patted.
というわけで、これにて一件落着。
Can we see Sadako,
今
please?
日のビリはフルでリカ。
That miraculous turnaround. And last place went to Rika-chan, the one everyone had least expected. The whole classroom went wild.
よくもこんなひどいお弁当でビリを免れましたね。
Don't say that! Come on. Sadako looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of
ビリに
voice.
なんかなるわけないだろ。この弁当のどこにビリになる要素があるってんだ。
だって こんな出来の悪いお惣菜や缶詰ばかりでセンスもなくて、それから
Grab. Sadako is speaking more and more poorly of herself as time went on, so I roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it.
だろ、心が大事だって。この弁当は上辺だけじゃない。いろんな味に溢れてるんだぜ。
Very true.
でも心だけじゃありませんのよ。
That sprite makes me so sad. Like, come
お
on.
味なんて全然変で。
どこが変なんだ。うまかった。だから詰めてきた。本当に夕べの飯がまずかったら詰めてなんか来ないぞ。食パンと牛乳パックを持って投稿してくる。
でも
Oh, just shut up already. Literally. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. At some point, Rena had come up behind us. She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the
とこ
beginning.
ろから俺が作ったんじゃないって気づいてた。
ケイチくんがやけどを見せてくれた時かな。だってケイチくんのお弁当に油で炒めるおかずなんか入ってないし。
True.
レナさんは何か誤解してるではございませんの？私は別に何も。あれ？このお弁当、さとこちゃんが作ったんじゃないんだ。
Of course not. That would be
じゃ
insane.
あやっぱりケイチくんの手作りなのかな。うん。じゃあケイチくんの手作りなんだね。
Rena smiled roguishly and turned from Sadako to me.
キュウリとかを切るときは包丁をほらこんな感じで引くの。彩りなんかはね、お野菜を上手に加えるといろいろ表現ができるんだよ。
This lecture was clearly not meant for me.
でも前に見せてもらった時よりもずっと上達してたよ。ちゃんとお勉強してるんだね。きっとこの調子ならもっともっと上手にお料理が作れるようになるよ。
I've really got to think about like all this spirit stuff, you know? Like what do I think it means? I don't know. It's interesting though. I guess to me it like vaguely makes me think of how all of the horrible, terrible things we've seen happen. There has been like an underlying emotional reason for all of them, I think, right? It just kind of like vaguely reminds me of that as like an idea, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it exactly. She continued saying words clearly meant for Sadako while facing me instead. Sadako was wearing an ambiguous look and couldn't even nod her head at her.
とにかく誰が何と言おうと、俺は今日の弁当を気に入ってるんだ。今日ばかりは誰にも分けないからさ。俺が一人で全部食う。
あ、ケチなんだ。レナも食べてみたいな、みたいな。
Do we even have time to eat anymore? Like, come on. As we were going back and forth, Sadako rubbed her eyes as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else.
私も実は富田さんにお弁当を分けてもらいました。
Oh no!
バカ王女なんて言っちゃうんだ
She doesn't want Riko to face the punishment alone, I guess. If she'd kept it a secret, then at least she would have been saved. Tomita-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise.
そうだったの？ほんと？ありゃ。
Mion spun her finger around, then pointed to the hallway, sentencing Sadako to the punishment game as well. Sadako left the classroom behind her, completely prepared, as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand.
理科だけに行かせられませんわ。
Mm-hmm.
地獄の底までお付き合いしましたよ。
I believe you. I believe that you would.
そんなとこまでついてこなくていいのですよ。まったく、ケイチさんも闇ですわね。
In that sense, it's kind of a good thing that they got to die together in the last game, at least. We didn't have to see either of them without the other one.
理科だけを晒し者にするなんて本当に意地悪な人でございますこと。
I didn't mean... I couldn't just return Sadako's kindness with malice.
ね、本当にさとこはおバカさんなのですよ。
Rika-chan spoke so that only I could hear, grinning happily.
では、そろそろ行きましてよ、リカ。罰ゲームも部活メンバーの務めでございますわ。
Absolutely. Sadako seemed awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron.
ミオ、俺も白状するぞ。
Oh
この
no!
弁当は
Oh god, no! Why?
俺も同じだ。だから行ってくるぞ。罰ゲーム。
Just everyone cheated. Just...
ケ
Mion bought hers from a store or something. It's just not real. Ren is the only one who made hers.
どうなってんの？
頑張ってね。罰ゲーム。救急箱を用意して待ってるからね。
Thank you,
あらか
thank
じめ
you.
救急車の手配を場合によっては霊柩車だな。
Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happily smiling Rena behind in the classroom, I went into the hallway.
何やってるんですの？せっかく買ってたのに。
Finally won
わ
for
ざわ
once.
ざ罰ゲームに名乗りを上げるなんて物好きにも程があるでございましたよ。
そうだな。物好きにも程があるぜ。
まったく今日の罰ゲームを甘く見すぎです。
No, they'll be okay. They can all die together.
ともかくケイイチさんじゃ大変なことになってしまうかもしれませんわね。肋骨な一本や二本の
Yeah,
数が
she'll
多いでしょうね。
she'll think that like Keiichi put them up to it or something.
肋骨は痛そうだな。俺、痛いのはダメなんだ。
I don't like getting hurt. Thank you, Keiichi. That's pretty unique.
ケイイチさんはおとなしく私の相槌を打っているんですね。
And not just Rick and Sadako walk in, just badmouth and curry. Keiichi's just like, yeah, I agree.
私とリカでうまくやりますか。
Uh-huh.
まったく罰ゲームの面倒まで私が見なくちゃダメなんて。まったく
I already knew that her pouty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile.
なあ、俺さ、野菜炒めが食いたいんだけど、さとこ作れるか？
はまあ
True.
できないことはありませんわよ。
Real.
上手に作れますですよ。さとこの野菜炒めは大好きなのです。
She was uneasy at first, but when she got assurance from Rika-chan, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident
じゃ
eyes.
あ決まりだな。今日学校が終わったらいろいろ買い物に行こうぜ。俺じゃあ何を買えばいいのか全然わかんないし。
それもそうですわね。ケイイチさん
Of course, he's too useless to do that.
まだまだ早いですし。
He could never do it without Sadako's help.
私が見てなければ不安ですからね。そのさとこも僕が見てないと間違えたお買い物をしちゃうんじゃないかと不安なのです。みー
The conversation continued as we walked until we arrived before the door to the teacher's lounge.
さて、罰ゲームなんかちゃっちゃと済ませて、今晩の献立の話でもしようぜ。
Sounds good. Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Sadako to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other
死ぬ
hand.
ときゃみんな一緒だぜ。誰も一人でなんか死なせない。
みんなで一緒です。誰も一人でなんか死なせないのです。不謹慎な話ですわね。私はそんな物騒なのごめんですわよ。
She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was gonna make me blush. Wait, let me read this again, sorry. Okay.
よし、この扉、一枚向こうは死後の世界だぞ。
Sounds good. We can all hang out.
みんなでだ。
みんなでですわよ。では、行きますわよ。
Alright, let's go. Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chi-sensei was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day.
あら、前原くんに
What are they gonna say? What are they gonna say? Wow, that curry looks really bad.
どうかしましたか？
She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. The three of us each held each other's shoulders tightly once
じゃ
more.
あ行くぜ。いいか。
What are we gonna say? What do we do?
ケイイチさんはおとなしくしてるんですのよ。すべて私とリカでやりますから。私に今だけ命をお預け
Yeah, come on. I would entrust my life to Sadako.
ファイト、おーですよ。
あなたたち？
We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Sadako. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Sadako inhaled deeply, and so...
やいやい。カレーと
God. What are you doing? Oh God, does it have to be that extreme? They're dead. They died. It's over. Okay. That's a good time to stop. Well, I guess we will finish this chapter next time. Yeah, I don't know. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with everything not being terrible. Who knows how long that's gonna last, but you know what? That's okay. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it so far. Actually, I wonder how much we have left. Maybe we should just finish this chapter. Maybe I'm changing my mind right now. We should just finish it. I hear this music. I like this music so much. It makes me want to continue. You know what? Let's keep going. No, I changed my mind. We're going to keep going. All right. In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Sadako muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do or something. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Sadako in her own way. Without Rika-chan there, Sadako was prouder and more loquacious than ever. Don't buy the what was it again? The pork bone and ginger flavored 20-pack. Don't do that, please. God, not again. Oh, okay. Sure, if you say so. Oh, they got like fancy grocery stores here, huh? Not really, but you know. In the United States, all we have is super processed, you know, a grocery store having fresh meat would be unbelievable. Like no way. It gets filled up. I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something or made an affirmative grunt in place of conversation, Sadako would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smile very happily in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. She was in such a supreme mood that just being with her cheered me up. Merely being pulled into Sadako's pace was a lot of fun. No way. Of course. Sadako pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Why can't Sadako do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school? Sure. After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place. Uh-oh, hurry! Go, run! Sadako really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hand while running towards an amusement park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew that it would taste absolutely delicious. Outside, at some point the cicadas had been replaced by the Higurashi's chorus. The air was so clear, it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy, and made me feel really happy in return. They do such a good job, like, changing the shade of the sprites, you know, with the background. I don't know. It just, like, it fits perfectly, you know, with the lighting.
野菜炒め楽しみだな。うちのお袋のメニューにはさ、野菜炒めってないんだよ。だから中華屋で外食するときくらいにしか食べられないんだよ。
Ooh, fancy.
今日は本当に楽しみなんだよ。
それはお気の毒でございますこと。では今日は特別に美味しいのをご披露して差し上げましたよ。
Normally, right about now, was the time I would start messing with her. But I didn't.
ああ、さとこならきっとうまい野菜炒めを作ってくれる。すごく楽しみだよ。
It's interesting, though, that, like... I don't know. Like, is the implication here that she really was unhappy with the way Keiichi would treat her before? I mean, maybe, but it's something to think about, right? Because his dynamic with Mion changing was, like, the thing that made everything in Watanagashi happen, right? Well, kinda, right? So, him changing his dynamic with Sadako is, I don't know, it's interesting. Because that's kind of just been, like, how everything has worked, right? Like, in Onikashi, it was kind of the same, that when he started suspecting his friends and being weird, about Rena specifically, really, that's, everything went downhill, you know? And in this case, it's not like he's treating her worse or anything, but he is changing the dynamic of their relationship, I guess. She stammered for a second. Sadako had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then, too, and when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason. I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad.
とびきり美味しいのをごちそうしましたよ。楽しみにして遊ばせ。
As Sadako and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Sadako right away if she did something to me. Yeah, that was the kind of relationship we had, exactly. We would poke at each other a little, and then kick up a storm while nitpicking one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Sadako, too. Sadako, who I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. I guess Sadako's acting differently too, right? It's not just Keiichi, so... Our relationship was changing, little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. If you say so, sure. It was like our relationship had become a little happier, a little bit more charming. I wonder why we changed this. Was she lonely and projecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Maybe. Rika-chan told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Sadako was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, this Sadako was the real Sadako. Okay, well, like, kinda. Oh god. That is not the way you should think about it, actually. I really disagree with that. I don't think... this is really, like, a not right way to think about things, I think, you know? Like, who you are isn't determined by some nebulous idea that, like, the way you act when you aren't making yourself act some way. You know what I mean? Like, the person that you are and who is really you is whatever the way you act, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not... I just think this is just a bad way to think. And I think Keiichi has fought this kind of thing before about, like, himself and other people, right? I mean, it's his whole thing. We talked about it before. His whole bizarre thing about there being two versions of everyone, right? And I think it comes from a place of insecurity with himself, too. So, of course, it makes sense that he would think that this is the real Sadako, whatever that means, you know? But I don't think Sadako, the way she's acted before, was any less Sadako, you know what I mean? Like... just because she might be returning to the way she used to act before, it doesn't mean that's the real her. You know, like, she was always the real her, is what I'm trying to say. Sadako had been able to see her brother again, and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I'd been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hosha. Yeah, I was Keiichi Maibara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. I could come close, but I could never really get there. That was, vaguely somehow, a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have come off one day. That would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Sadako's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. And now I'm worried that Keiichi's gonna, like, think about that about himself, too. Think that he shouldn't act like this. Because he's not Satoshi, right? I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts.
どう うしましたのケイチさん。
ごめん、なんでもないよ。
なんでもないならそんな変なことしないでくださいませね。何か悪いものでも食べたんじゃないかと不安になってしまいますわ。
へいへい、ごめんよ、さとこ。
Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my face. Hey, Keiichi-Maibara, why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about that when it happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Sadako's own smile would never wane. As long as I stay this way, this tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day, too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not a real brother, so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Sadako would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi, or what made him abandon Sadako and run away. And I'm wondering if that's gonna be, like, when we start getting into, you know, the stuff in this chapter. Him, like, looking into that and learning about it, maybe. But just seeing Sadako in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi. I would become a replacement brother.
そうそう、うまい。実にうまい。この塩コショウ味のお汁がいいんだよな。実にご飯が進む。
ほらほらケイチさん、こぼしてますわよ。そんなに焦って食べなくてもご飯は逃げませんのよ。
いや逃げるぞ。出来たてほやほやの最高の味はできた瞬間からどんどん逃げていくんだ。サトコが100を美味しく作ったものならその100を丸々味わう義務がある。
I would say he's landed on thick, but I think that's just really how he feels.
それがクーガーのマナーってもんだ。
それはお気持ちだけで十分ですわ。ですからもっと落ち着いてご飯をお食べなさいませ。
そうだな。悪い悪い。
No insults here. I meekly scratched my head, then put down my chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. Sadako was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Sadako looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. The time passed, softly and gently. Before I would have gone back and forth, hurling insults at Sadako. In other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. I'd have never known I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Sadako. At the same time, something interesting about this is, like, the downfall of Keiichi's relationships that always also coincides with, like, crazy shit happening and Keiichi getting murdered. It has always been because, like, vaguely, the sense of Keiichi, like, looking too deeply into his friends or something, right? Like, I don't really like saying it like that because that doesn't really make sense, but he discovers things about his friends that makes him become, like, disillusioned with them in some way, right? Like Rena, right? Like, he learned all the Rena backstory in Onikashi that made him think Rena's an evil murderer who's gonna kill him, you know what I mean? And then with Tanagashi, and, like, with Hinamizawa itself as well, Hinamizawa's like that too. You know, how he's happy in Hinamizawa, he's fine with it, until he learns this weird, creepy backstory, and now he's like, oh, this village is gonna kill me, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Nothing has actually changed about his circumstances, that's my point, right? It's just he has learned this information that changes his behavior, and that's what makes everything go downhill, because now he acts differently, right? Because of the knowledge he has. And so it's interesting now that so far in this game, we are learning new things about Sadako. We've discovered this new side of her, but instead of it, Keiichi having a crazy anxiety attack about it, it's made him happy, and it's not hasn't been like the downfall of his entire life, you know? So I don't know, it's interesting that it's like, it makes me think about, like, really what is being said here, right? Like, in terms of the nature of relationships, I guess. What is the author trying to say exactly, you know? Because this kind of counters the previous things that you could take from the previous two chapters. For example, I was eating food that Sadako had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Sadako would have definitely put some sort of trap into this.
がっつきすぎた。ちょっとトイレに行ってくるぞ。
ちょっとケイチさん、お食事の最中に
Literally.
行くのはマナー違反ですわよ。
じゃあなんて言えばいいんだ？接近か？爽やか？お便所か？
Sadako looked down, her face bright red, and pointed to the hallway as if to say, just go already. Whoops, my old habits seem to have come back. But yeah, this wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom. Tug. My foot caught on something string-like. No! No!
やばん辛いさとこ
She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. Sadako, laughing uproariously, came over.
ほらね、そろそろ引っかかってくれる頃だと思いましたわ。
When did she do this?
まったくこいつはちょっと気を許すとこれだもんな
I picked up the wash tubs that had crashed into my head and went over to go hit Sadako with it. But then I doubled over with the laughter that had been welling up within me, so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. They won't, unfortunately. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything. But it was probably the first time that I'd spent my days so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much. It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we washed, with the experienced Sadako doing most of the work as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace, yet it was mild and warm. Maybe I'd felt this kind of warmth before, too, in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Kejimabara. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? Yeah, that's your anxiety disorder that you have. There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd work hard for it, and endure much for it. So God. It's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep going on, but can't you grant it? Oh no. Not the phone, not the phone, not the phone, not the phone, not the
こん
phone.
な夜更けに誰でございましょう。
あ、本当だ
I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up, then ran to the phone. What is it gonna, okay, here are the options. If it's a Wishi, I want to die. If it's Shion, I am closing the game. I hope it's his parents telling him that they're gonna be gone for a month or something, and he's gonna have to hang out with Sadako forever. Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel like the phone had interrupted my happy moment. But I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side. Or it's gonna be, I don't know, Rika calling to say that their house burned down or something. Like, it's gonna be something horrible.
もしもしはい前原です
もしもし
Okay, nothing
お
crazy.
母さんだけど
あなんだ母さんか何こんな時間に
That was a little cold of me, when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I can't help but give myself a dry
その
smile.
様子だと特にトラブルもなく生活できてるみたいね
Kinda.
母さん圭一がご飯を作れなくてひもじくて寝込んでるんじゃないかと心配してたわ
まあねなんとかおかげで
ご飯はちゃんと作れてる
Oh, you could just tell her,
今
Kenny.
度は
Come
何
on.
食べたの
へへ野菜炒めとご飯と味噌汁だよスーパーでいろいろとお惣菜を買ったから何気におかずも豊富でさそうそう聞いてよ豚肉なんかちゃんとタイムサービスを利用して半額で買ったんだぜへへ主婦の知恵っていうのかなそれから
All of that was thanks to Sadako, and not something I should be proud about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. It seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood.
うんしっかりやれていて母さん本当に安心したわそうそうそれでねお父さんとお母さんの仕事がなんとか終わ
Oh,
ったの
heading back.
明日の昼か夜には
Okay.
帰れると思うから
No more Sadako.
そうなんだ
二晩よく頑張ったわねこっちも二晩ほとんど徹夜でね大変だったけどなんとか先生のイベントは穴を開けずに済みそうよ
Hmm.
よかったねお疲れ
Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? I know, right? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver and Sadako appeared, having finished cleaning up her trap. At first, Sadako was in a very good mood, but when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she'd gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about.
圭一さんのご両親からですの？
明日には帰ってくるってさ。
それは良かったですわね。
I
明
guess.
日のお夕食の面倒はもう見なくていいわけでございますものね。家族で水入らずの食卓を囲みなさいませ。
そんなことないよ。また明日から無味乾燥な食卓からと。なんだか寂しいよ。
何を贅沢言ってますの。家族みんなで囲む食卓が一番
Yeah,
楽しいに決まってます
she
よ。
doesn't have that anymore. Her brother, Satoshi, running away from home came to mind immediately, but there was no gloom in the way she said it.
私も昨日今日と2日間でしたけど、とても楽しいお夕食を取らせていただきましたわ。
ならさ、今度は俺からさとこの家に遊びに行くよ。
Please do. Sadako momentarily made a happy smile, but then a second later, it changed to an expression of surprise.
うちは狭くて
No,
汚い
it's not.
で
It's
すわね。
fine. It's fine.
お台所もこんなに立派ではありませんし。
俺は別に気にしないぜ。でも、ま、さとこが嫌なら遠慮してもいいよ。
Sadako shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing
それ
denial.
に俺、
Okay, wow, sure,
ま
I
だまだ
guess.
いろいろと教えてもらわないとな。ようやく炊飯器の使い方と味噌汁の作り方を覚えた程度だし。
それもそうですわね。これを機会に、ケイチさんにお料理をお勉強してもらうのもいいかもしれませんわね。
It was like Sadako to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake, but there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There's no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue in mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Sadako told me she didn't need to be escorted home, but Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's face here in Hinamizawa, so it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought as Sadako's older
じ
brother.
ゃあ、学校の近くまで送ってやるよ。あそこまで行けば、結構街灯とかあるから大丈夫だろ。
本当に大丈夫なんですのよ。
Really doesn't want him
悪い
to.
人が現れても指一本で撃退してみせますわ。
There was no point in pressing her any more on the subject, so I took a handful of Sadako's hair and rubbed her head vigorously.
さとこ、ごちゃごちゃ言うな。
Your Nini will bring you part of the way there. That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Sadako gave her older brother, and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed.
ニーニ
What did Sadako just say?
ケイチさんが兄みたいに見えただけですわ。その今の言い方全然違うけど、どこか雰囲気が似てましたもので。
Come on. That was very good. Sadako laughed awkwardly and turned red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too. But the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread from my chest. It was completely different from romantic feelings or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet, and warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today. But when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind thoughtfulness of her worrying about a good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of a brother herself. So then, no, let's stop there, Keiichi Mibara. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Sadako to be happy. Sadako is acting as though her Nini running away from home didn't bother her at all. Even though that actually wasn't the case. She was very sad and was waiting for him to come home. Because Sadako was a stable person when she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Sadako still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile it away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserved praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brother shouldn't be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi, but unfortunately he wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part. And not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Because... was there something wrong with seeing Sadako smile so happily? No.
なんですのケイチさん。さっきからずーっとニヤニヤしてますのね。
俺が嬉しそうな顔をしてるとおかしいかな。
別におかしくはありませんけど、
The sound of the motor on her bike light was too loud, and I couldn't hear what Sadako said.
何なんて言った？
いえ、
What do you say?
どこまでもニーニーに似てますのね、ケイチさん。
そっか？
もちろん本当のニーニーとは全然違うんですけども、こういろいろそういうところが似てますの。本当に不思議ですわね。
不思議です。
似ているとニーニーを思い出して寂しくなるか？
Once I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Sadako didn't seem to mind one bit.
別に寂しくなんかありませんわ。こうしてケイチさんがニーニーの代わりになってくれますしね。
As I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark, Sadako suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was a very quiet, composed, and adult question.
リカですの？
It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely
リカ
somehow.
がニーニーの代わりになってくれってケイチさんに
No, she didn't. She just told him about it, but now he decided.
そう思うのか？
気を悪くしないでくださいませね。リカって私には変に気を使うんですね。
There's nothing strange about it.
私はそんなに気にしていないのに。
I could say for sure, at least, that was a lie. Yesterday and today, Sadako had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. And that was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I gave Sadako a light poke to the head.
考えすぎだよ。バカ。俺は俺。前原圭一だ。お前のニーニーの北条聡じゃない。
そんなのは分かってますわ。
Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Sadako herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something that Sadako regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed Sadako's head and pet her.
そんなくだらない話はもういいだろう。もう遅いから、とっとと帰って歯を磨いてみろ。ついでだから、寝る前にうがいもしとけ。風邪の予防になっていいぞ。
それを言ったらニーニーもですわよ。ちゃんと歯を磨くんですのよ。うがいもしてお手洗いも済ませて明日の教科書を準備してそれから
She has many more things to tell you. Come on. I wondered what kind of siblings Sadako and Satoshi were. I've never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it was probably quite like this. It's just really making me think that somehow Satoshi is gonna come back. But I just don't know how that's possible, right? Like, I guess in my mind, I just think he has to be dead, you know? But I guess I just have this problem because I feel like then Rika must know that he's dead. And I feel like it's kind of cruel for Rika to be letting Sadako think that her brother's not been dead this whole time, right? And just this grave hope, impossible hope that he'll ever come back, because I don't think he ever will, right? But like the way the story's like going now, it's making me think that we actually are going to see Satoshi, that he is gonna come back. But I just don't think that's possible. Like I just really, especially not if I think he's the one who killed his aunt. Like how is he, you know? And like Keiichi went crazy and killed Runa and Mion, but he still knew what he did, right? It's not like Satoshi would come back and not even know he's the one who killed his aunt. Like, of course, I could just be wrong, and it wasn't Satoshi, but I just think that's, like, crazy, right? It obviously wasn't the random homeless person that they said killed their aunt, you know, so... It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. Ah, man. Oh... I really liked that chapter. That was good. We can read the tip too. Let's finish it up, shall we? Let's finish it up. Sadako's Trap Course, Intermediate. I could see Tomita-kun and Nakamura-kun walking over to the gym storehouse. They needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lines on the court for our next gym class. They were on duty today, after all. But, in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them.
仕掛けた側から見ると
Oh, you're helping
本
her?
当にハラハラするな。
I see, I see.
ケイチさんにもその醍醐味がわかるなら素質がありましたよ。
The two of them fumbled around with the gym storehouse's lock. Oh? What's this? Okamura-kun pointed at the part of the door and started whispering to Tomitsu-kun. Then, realizing something, they both jumped away from the door.
Oh.
Oh no.
バレたみたいだぞ。失敗か。
あの二人が入り口の
Oh, okay, okay, alright, alright.
済みですわ。
It's a double trap.
そして次にどういう行動に出るかももちろん計算済みです。
What if they just walk away? According to Sadako, after they noticed the suspicious trap on the door, they would go around and try to get in through the back window. And just as she prophesied, they went around to the back, and just as she'd prophesied, they climbed up, opened the window, and tried to sneak in.
すげえ。サトコの読み通りだぞ。あ、かかった。
Boof, poof. An explosion of pure white lime burst out of the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of completely white. Very, very good. Very nice.
この瞬間がたまりませんわね。蜜の味でございましてよ。
You think?
いや、しかし、よくかかったよな。あんな器用なトラップ。富田くんが窓を登るとき、どこに手を置いて、どこに足を置くかとか、どこへ飛び降りるとか、そういう
Absolutely.
のを全部読まなくちゃ絶対にかからないぞ。
いいですことケイチさん。トラップの第一歩は相手の観察から始まりますのよ。相手の行動パターンを読み、相手ならこの時こう動くというのを綿密に読み切るんですの。そうすれば必要最低限の仕掛けで最大の効果が狙えるトラップが仕掛けられますのよ。
Come to think of it, before Sadako read the final move at that final moment earlier, Mion had given her high praise, saying she had the makings of a genius.
トラップは読みが全てってわけか。じゃあつまり過去に俺が引っかかってきたトラップもみんな俺が読まれてるから引っかかってたってわけか。
Absolutely.
私なりにケイチさんの行動パターンを読み
Well, remember, everything that Keiichi ever thinks is just on his face, remember? So.
だからケイチさんがある日突然いつもと違う癖やいつもと違うパターンになってしまうからかからなくなってしまうわけですわね。
Bragging that she couldn't anticipate everything I do. Wonder if that ever happened with Satoshi, huh? That was kind of mean.
よし。じゃあさ、なんかゲームをやってみろ。
What am I gonna do in 5 minutes from
サ
now?
トコの読みが当たるかどうか試してみろよ。
いいですわよ。ケイチさんは特に読みやすいですから朝飯前ですよ。
When we went back to the classroom, Sadako tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, making 3 cards. Of course, I didn't know what she'd written.
この中の1枚を引いてごらんなさいませ。外れを引かなければケイチさんの勝ちですわ。
Okay, alright.
挑戦してやる
Just
ぜ。
what if all of them say you're a
鍛え上げられ
loser?
た俺の感性で見事打ち破ってくれる。
Sadako smirks and holds out the 3 cards. Set your mind to full power by calming it, Keiichi Maibara. Cool and collected is how you'll win. If I don't pick the losing one, I'll win. Which means if I do pick it, Sadako will win. In other words, Sadako wants to make me pick the losing one. What would she do to make sure I pick the losing one? Could she even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, isn't there some rule that says I'm more likely to pick the one in the middle, or the ones on either side? And then it hits me like a flash. That's what Mion would do. Uh-huh, okay.
さあ、どれを取るか決まりました
But could you say that that's his behavior changing because he's thinking about it like this? I don't know.
だぜ。それはな、これだ。
何をするでございますの？
I steal all 3 cards from Sadako's hands. I predicted what Sadako would do in advance. Sadako wanted to make sure I picked the losing one, which meant all 3 of these were the
そう
losing
いう
ones.
わけだ。この3枚改めさせてもらうぜ。
I flip all 3 cards face up, and on each one there's a single word. You're a loser. No! No! No way!
なんだこりゃ。外れ。
Oh god.
つまりはそういうこと。1 1枚しか取らなかったのは外れにはならなかったということですわ。
Man, he got owned.
じゃあ俺が3枚まとめて引くの読んでいたってのか。
Thank you. Thank you. I held my head in my hands and fainted as Sadaka reveled at the might of her abilities. Her shrill laughter echoed throughout the classroom. And then, there was a poof as lime powder came down upon Sadaka's head. What? I looked up. I looked to see Tomote-kun and Okamura-kun all in white, dumping a whole bag of lime powder on her, getting their revenge.
いきなり何をなさいますのですか、お二人とも。
Not fair.
誰が罠を仕掛けたのかは問答無用ってところだな。
失礼でございますわね。どこに証拠がございますの？
Exactly.
それに罠なんて品のない言い方をやめてほしいですわね。
Exactly, true. It wasn't a trick, it was a trap.
より優雅にトラップと呼んでほしいですわ。
That being said, these two pretending to be tough. Not only that, but standing still, completely blank and silent. But anyway, ignoring what happened before, having someone chase you with their mouth full of lime in such a way they can't even speak. Yeah, that would be scary, even for Sadaka.
ケイチさん、助けて。
Deserved. Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in furious combat, getting white lime everywhere. Hey, Sadaka? Why couldn't you see this coming? Exactly. At the time, I hadn't seen something coming too, though. The teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all a stern talking to. Alright. That is the end. Finally. We're gonna blaze right through this chapter, aren't we, if we keep playing this much. But that's okay. It was very good. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to be very sad when we get to the part where everything becomes terrible. So, especially if the difficulty is the worst. So, but yeah, that's it. Subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos. You have to. You gotta. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you in the next one.